Hello, everybody out there. It's your boy, Michael Ray Bauer, and this is the seventh episode of the Happy Alien Podcast. It's been a minute since I've been able to do this, since my old computer busted, and I'm finally working on another computer, but it's not updated and it is not as good as it can be technology wise. So there may be some issues in today's live stream, but we're getting it going and we're doing a double joint live stream. This is the Happy and Alien Podcast. What is it about? Well, it's about anything I want it to be about. We talk about conspiracies, we meet people, we talk about politics, pop culture. We try to have a good time, but we also try to educate and meet some interesting aliens. So that's what we're going to do today on today's show. So thank you, everybody, for chiming in. If you got some super chats or some questions during the show for today's guest, please get it on there. They will get priority. And stick around. There's a possibility that I'm doing a after hours live stream for members only on my YouTube channel. And maybe it will include today's guest. But let's get into it. We got about a good hour or so with this guest, and her name is MX Mandy McGee, and I'll let her tell you a little bit about herself once we get her on the screen. Here we go. Introduce yourself, Mandy. You're muted.
My bad. Hello, I'm Mix Mandy McGee, and my pronouns are they, them. So Michael's going to try his best to remember that.
Try my best to understand pronouns and that whole world.
Yeah.
I mean, I think of myself as an alien, so I guess I can take you as a they, them, because aliens might be a part of that.
Well, being autistic, I grew up feeling kind of like an alien in the world, because like it felt like society had an instruction manual that just got lost for me, and I don't have the instruction manual to society.
I can totally agree. Everybody, if you'd like to support Mandy, if you start to fall in love with her during the show and you want her to be in your life, she does have YouTubes and Twitch streams and a link tree. Every way to support her is down below. We are also doing a joint live stream with, I believe, on her channels. So this is kind of interesting for me. We're having a double date on both of our channels.
Yeah, for both of our communities. This whole YouTube world is kind of new-ish to me. I mean, I was on YouTube forever ago, but StreamYard is brand new, and the way that they monetize now is brand new to me. So I have to get my numbers back up and my watch hours, and otherwise I'm not monetized.
Well, trust me, we're all struggling in this industry, but you're so much that I've wanted to have you on a show and hang out with you that I actually paid StreamYard $19 so we can do this live stream.
That's amazing.
On different platforms. So, you know, if you guys want to support, let me know, because I don't like to pay companies for anything. I ain't got no dang money.
Yeah, I don't have much money either. I'm a teacher.
Oh, there you go. So yeah, so that's your career choice?
Yes, I have been a preschool teacher since 2017 now.
Preschool.
It's kind of what I've always wanted to do, but I don't know. I didn't find that I don't know. I did all these other art endeavors and other college, and then I got to a point in my life where I was like, oh, this is what I'm going to do now.
What's the age of preschoolers nowadays? I don't even remember when I was in preschool.
Well, most preschoolers are like 4 to 5. So it's like sometimes 3, depends on the school and how they break up their classes. So most of the schools I work for even have babies. So they'll have babies all the way up to pre-K.
So we got a few people chiming in, and I may not get to every message.
That's my mom.
During today's show. There you go. Yes. We got Mandy's mod saying hello. And I mean, this name might offend you, but I think it's pretty funny because I have I don't know what he's saying. I don't have pronouns. I have amateur nouns. Yeah, we'll discuss that stuff later. But also, I just wanted to respect everybody that's online. I appreciate all the support from my members, maybe some new members from Mandy's crew, And thank you guys so much for being online. We might get into a couple of sensitive topics today. So for anybody, please have empathy, love, and respect, and try to
And
understand
trigger
and
warnings.
trigger warnings, and just please try to understand. I try to make this a no judgment free zone, or did I say that right? A judgment free
Yeah.
zone as best as possible. But you guys know my brain is wild, and sometimes I don't understand the world. So let's talk about that. So you have pronouns and they and them, and
Yeah.
is this like a gender ideology thing? Because for the past couple years, that world has like became known to a lot of people, and it triggers
Hmm.
people. They have protests, they yell at each other.
Yeah.
Why? I mean, I don't know the question to ask, okay, but like, why do they, or why do you feel you don't have the belief that there's possibly only two genders, or
Well, we
why
have,
you can accept it? I don't know what I'm saying. I
yeah.
apologize.
Well, there's differences in all those terminologies. So to break it down, like biology wise, we don't even have binary sex because we also have intersex people. So like you have male, female, those full chromosomes, but then you have variations in the middle, and that makes up about 2% of our population with many different conditions that are intersex. And it's the same as like the number of people who have green eyes is about 2% of the population. Natural redheads, 2% of the population. It's a natural thing that occurs that a lot of people don't want to accept for some reason.
It's hard to accept it because when we're taught one thing growing up, and like, it's easy for a child technically to understand
Mhm.
male, female genitalia. Again, we can get into the science debates and all that. I'm not that
Yeah.
intelligent. I'm not going to do
But
it.
even with intersex, there can be sex characteristic differences. Like I have a friend
What is
who
intersex? See, again, I'm a
so
little bit
intersex
confused.
again, like you have your, I'm trying to get into the camera. You have a male, female, and then you have in between. So intersex people will have varying conditions that affect their hormone levels, like different,
Okay.
like you can have different chromosome combinations, and there's like tons of different intersex conditions. Like one of my friends, she had grown up not knowing much about her body, and she didn't know that anything was different until she hit puberty, and she did not have much of a hole. There was vagina, no hole.
Mm.
So, and it's a big deal to the intersex community to be included in the discussions because people tend to just go, oh, well, that's a mutation. That's an anomaly. We shouldn't worry about that. But then we've comfortably let a whole set of humans just try and figure it out for themselves, and or have doctors give them cosmetic surgeries for them as babies. And then parents aren't even informing their children that they're intersex. So a lot of education needs to happen around that. And that's just the sex part of it. So gender, we do know that there are differences in brain, and we think that there are two different causes of gender. One, it is a social construct. We as a society go, okay, this is male, this is female, right? And and then we also have brain scan studies of where they think that gender can be predetermined in a person. And then you get into the whole trans part. And that's where non-binary is under the umbrella of trans. So you still have trans women, trans men, and then you have non-binary people.
Again, I respect everything you're saying, but I'm lost already. Again, I'm like a child. I want, A and B.
Mm,
And like I said, it confuses me when there's so much
yeah.
choices or this or that. It can get overwhelming because there's
Yeah.
so many boxes. And then honestly, like, and if I can remember what I wanted to ask a second ago, you were mentioning about intersex.
Hmm.
Well, again, how much of the population is actually either born with it or whatever? Is it like 1%, 2%, or because
No,
why would
you are born as intersex when you have intersex characteristics or conditions.
okay, so you're taking not outwardly, you're taking it inwardly as well.
What do you
Meaning, I
mean?
thought, I don't know, you mentioned something about like not having a hole. So I was thinking it was
Yeah,
body
no,
wise, outwardly.
yeah, sometimes you can tell outwardly that something is different,
Yeah.
but a lot of times it's also internal. And like some people have internal testes and without ovaries, but have, all the other parts. And if people are hermaphrodite, which is a very small percentage of the intersex population, you will never have two fully working parts. So they'll still have both parts, but only one is working, or maybe nothing is working.
A lot of the mainstream people and everything, they always want to be negative about everything, without understanding it. But
Yeah.
they call it a mental illness for some of these situations, and
Yeah.
I don't like that, because I'll be honest with you, with all the now we're getting into conspiracies, but with all the foods we eat, the chemicals, the metals that are in the air, and I cannot say that these things are making people mental illness or whatever, but there's a lot of chemicals and stuff that we're digesting, we're
Oh
eating,
yeah.
and
Oh yeah.
now it's like the X-Men. Like, I believe our DNA, everybody's growing up and different characteristics, like you said, and we're becoming different people. And a lot of us have more mental illness or this or that, or we're now realizing our feminine traits and
Mhm.
all that other stuff. So there now has to be multiple categories because
Yeah.
evolution is turning it that way. You know what I
Well,
mean?
it's not evolution. Like, we know for a fact that people like in the queer community have always existed, but
Oh
at
yeah, yeah,
certain
of course.
points of time, we are we've been illegal to even exist as ourselves.
That's the same thing as
And
women and stuff like
language,
that.
and also language changes. So like, even though I knew from a young age that I was different, I didn't have the language for it.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know if I was comfortable with changing my pronouns. And I didn't even do it. I didn't come out as non-binary or change my pronouns until I was in my 30s.
Do
So
you
like,
get?
I didn't have the language for it. I just kept calling myself gender fluid or genderless.
Yeah, I mean, so like I said, the education is getting much more for the people that have the
Mhm.
feelings or they feel like they're born with it or however that works. I don't really
Yeah.
understand it. But I'll be honest, and I'm not afraid to say this. I've had moments where I've thought about men sexually, but I didn't like it. You get it? Like, I've had those moments where I thought about exploring the thoughts or whatever, but it just wasn't for me. So that means, that I guess I wasn't born gay because I just don't like it. But I've always had womanly, I don't know if they're characteristics or features, but society says women are emotional or this or that. But I feel like that all the time. And I honestly believe if
Yeah. It's just
those,
those stupid
ca-
stereotypes that we as a society give people. And the
but
whole point to human, like, figuring out yourself is knowing that nothing is binary, nothing is black and white, and people should just be free to express themselves how they want to live the life that they like makes them feel happier.
yeah, I mean, that's what I'm trying to do. But again, if I have to go back to the stereotypes, I have a lot of women qualities, and it's okay because it makes me
Yeah.
who I am. It doesn't mean that I like men or anything like that. It just means I think I like a lot of those stereotypes. Like, I have them. I cry a lot. I'm emotional.
But that's
I
just
get
being a human. And
yeah.
we've been told as a society from, I think you're close to my age. I'm 42.
Ugh. Don't ever reveal your. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Say how
No, I
young are
don't
you?
care. I'm like so happy to get old. You know why? Because I can live my life now. I have a lot of childhood trauma, so I'm like, yeah, I can live now. But I'm
Good.
also excited to see how I look older because I don't have my parents, so I don't have a blueprint for what I'm gonna look like, and so it's very interesting to me as a human being, like getting older. Like, what is this gonna look like for me?
You're already older and you're still good looking. So you got nothing to worry about.
It's my skincare, I guess. I don't know. My genes.
So let's round off this topic because, again, I'm sure you got plenty of facts that I will never understand
Yeah.
because I'm a simpleton. Like, but when it comes to conspiracies, I want to know everything.
Yeah. The only thing that I hate is just that it sucks having your life up to for debate. Like, should I be legal or not? Should I exist or not? Like that's the whole like thing that we're trying to educate on is like we need that to stop. Why are we as a society or as people like saying who is like valid or not? Like who can be a human or not? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's
The
all
only other
nuanced.
issue.
Like we're complex beings.
Oh, definitely, definitely. We are insanely complex. Every one of us. We're all aliens in some sort.
Men don't
But
cry, Mike. Someone said men don't cry.
oh, did they? Yeah, I'm not reading all the comments. Forgive me, guys. Like I said, super chats get priority, so it's all good. For um, the last question I was going to ask is, do you get mad at people when they first meet you at glance if they call you a woman or a girl, or do you
No.
expect everybody to say they them? Like, are you that hard on these individuals?
No, not at all. I can understand why some people do get hot-headed about it because when you're misgendered constantly and you have to constantly keep like correcting people, it can get stressful. But as long as I mean, I can usually tell if someone's being rude or not. And honestly, if they're being rude, like I feel sorry for them. Like they must be miserable in their lives. But as long as the person, just says, "Oh, sorry, my bad," and then moves on really quickly, it's whatever.
Yeah.
Like people are still learning. Sometimes I even misgender myself, but it's just language. We're just people.
How dare you not call me an alien?
Oh, sorry, alien. Oh, hi,
All
Summer
right.
Savage.
So I just wanted to quickly say hello to the people that are online. Give them a little good bit of shout out. We got Michael G,
Yeah, my mods are
Doctor
in
Who
here.
Heather,
Yay.
Larry Jester, Doctor Who. What was his name? Doctor Who Heather, Miss Sunrise Dawn, Queen Mother, Born Mush, Gary Bam Gam Gordy, F Titties, John Van Guest, Michael G, and whoever else is online. And Mandy McGee's online. She's writing text. How can you do it all at once? I cannot do it all. I'm struggling just to fit
I'm a
in here in the
mod
car.
for a bunch of people, and I stream myself on Twitch. So I have two monitors, so I'm used to like I'm a machine. My mods know that I'm a machine when I mod for other people. But there was a question earlier that I wanted to quickly address. Where was it? Larry Juster said, "So what do the teachers call you or the students?" Like, I mean, they're still learning. They're preschoolers, but they can wrap their heads around it just fine. I even like got called, or it was really cute to me because it made my androgynous heart warm when a student was like, "You look like a boy and a girl." And I was like, "Yay!"
Yeah, I personally don't see any boy characteristics. Like I said, from my visual
Well, when
cue,
I'm not all glammed up,
yeah.
and I'm
Um,
looking even more like Billie Eilish, I guess.
Yeah, and I'm always afraid to offend anybody because my vocabulary is not the best, and
Mhm.
I'm not an outwardly speaker so correctly or intelligently, so I'm always afraid to say the wrong thing. But do you think children should be? And do you teach this in your class? Do you teach this stuff at such a young age? And do you think they should have all of these categories and everything at
Yeah.
such an early age? I mean, I personally
Well,
don't.
here's the
I
thing.
think maybe 10, 11, 12, something like that. I don't know.
Here's the thing. So identity actually is starting in the child's brain at about 3 years old. So they're already like noticing what mom and dad is doing, what relationships look like. They're questioning things, they're seeing things. I have trans students. Like
At
they're four,
preschool? Do you? I
4 or 5 years old, yes. And I have watched these people come to terms with it and then finally come out, and like we never push it, obviously. Like I would never want to do that. Don't ever think that a teacher is pushing it. If they are, then that's a bad teacher. So you want to discuss the world with them. I am they, them, I'm non-binary, so I discuss that with them because that's who I am. They have to learn how to address me, right? It's the same thing with like, I teach about disabled children, especially if there are no disabled children in the classroom. You want it propagates empathy when you have multiple different types of people around, and they can see it and they can see it modeled. So it's not like we're sitting down and teaching them about, weird things. Like it's all gradual and it's all age appropriate. And again, with the trans students that have come out, like I had this one little girl 2 years ago, she started changing the way she looked, but she didn't want to change her pronouns yet. And she waited and waited. And then when she finally was ready, she came to the teacher and was like, hey, can I say something to the class? And I'm like, oh my God, it blows my mind at how intelligent some of these kids really are. Like people tend to not think that kids understand things, but they really do. Even if they don't quite grasp it, they still are ruminating on it. They're still processing it. And obviously you want everything to be age appropriate.
Yeah, I mean, I have to push back, but I'm not going to get into a debate about it because I technically don't care, But it's just when I hear that, what was it, preschool kids are coming out, I don't think they even understand the world. And I know they're getting feelings and, and I know you want to catch people at their earliest so they can, when they get a little bit older, they can understand it. But like, just from my view, and again, this is no disrespect to anybody, I can't get on board with that. And I don't think if they come out that it should actually be trusted at that age. It's just, but I mean, you should welcome them in, talk about it, educate. Again, I can't see it. It's not in my forte. So I don't.
Well, you also have a different lived experience than I do. You haven't had to think about those things as heavily as someone who, at 4 years old, I knew I was different. At 4 years old, I could see things around me and notice things and go, this isn't quite me. But
there's no debate that we're different or that they have these feelings. There's no debate about that. I just meant the debate about brain functions and actually understanding the world. Because, in some ways, with everything, it could be considered brainwashing. Kids are going to be susceptible to everything, every toy, every dress, or clothing, or however.
I don't think it's brainwashing. We're not like a cult or anything.
Well, I'm an actor. I was brainwashed, going to acting class. I'm brainwashed
but
into that industry.
And that's one thing I would like to get into is like the quiet on the set thing a little bit.
Yeah, we can do that. I just wanted to end it with like, I don't like, not that I'm pushing back or I don't agree. It's just
I sort of feel like where your feelings are when people are like that, it's because you don't quite understand also how child development is. Like you have to really understand. Teachers, we know inside and out how a person fully develops and how their brain works and how children develop and trauma-informed care. Like we study, like we're not just thrown into a classroom. We generally know more than parents do, unless you're taking, active child psychology classes and child development. But that's what we go through.
That's a scary subject, though, to have teachers say that they know more than parents. Again, that's a kind of a bold statement. Again, this is not a debate show. I'm just saying.
I love this. I love this. No, I love this because I want to educate people, and I want people to be able to take away what they're going to from my conversation. I might not change everybody's mind about something, but it's about empathy, really. It's about really fostering positive environments for children, and sure that they're getting the right education and the right things and they're growing healthy and happy. That's all I
No,
care about.
I mean, look, I'm cool with everything. We could actually have an actual angry field or triggered debate show in the future,
Yes,
but
I
I'm
can
just,
say
getting
anything,
to know
Gary.
you.
I can say any damn thing I want.
But it's just interesting stuff.
Yeah.
My end thoughts of all of this is,
Yeah.
um, I I want to accept everybody for who they are. It might not be societal norms, and I understand that. And the other thing
Sure.
is, I just think I want people
There
to be more developed in their brain, and they can make the final choice. With all the information that's been given
Yeah.
to them throughout the
Well,
years, I want that person to make a final choice. But hopefully, it's when they're older in age. In
yeah.
my knowledge,
I mean,
I
just
hope it's when
know,
they're older.
yeah, just know that like there's a lot of misinformation about how trans people grow too, because there's a lot of research into the science of it, and nobody's giving children reassignment surgeries. Like, that's not a thing. It can't happen. Um, I know of one case where, like, if you're 17 in a certain state or 16 in a certain state, your parents can sign off on things. But I've seen parents even let their kids have nose jobs at like 16 and shit. So
It's all too scary for me.
nobody's
I just want to be a kid.
giving, yeah, just
Yeah.
nobody's giving kids those type of surgeries. It's not, nobody goes into it lightly. It's a very heavy personal thing to go through.
I want to respect the super chat, but I don't understand the comment, and I hope it's not derogatory. But I want to respect it. Boot this thing, MRB, nothing but a demon. Are you calling her a demon? I don't know. I'm a demon.
I'm not a demon. I
It's
promise.
all
I'm just
good.
autistic.
Yeah, no, trust me, you have no problems. We're all different. That's the point.
Mhm.
Again, we're going to have a lot of like disagreements and varying opinions on how to raise children, how to teach children, how to be a mother, be a father. You're like, whatever. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we all got a heart, and I believe we're all born with goodness in our heart until the world
Yes.
makes us rough. And
Yeah, I
I want to
believe
live.
that too. I feel like
Yeah,
hate is taught. Hate is taught.
definitely. So yeah, let's move along. And well, thank you for educating me. I never knew what MX was. Um, and what was it? The intersex. I learned something new about that. So
Well, I'm
maybe I'll.
sure like we all, I mean, at least in biology they touch on it, but there wasn't much research when we were kids on it. So
I
there's a
wish
lot
I.
more
I wish
research
I.
now.
I wish I had both utensils because I'm so lonely sometimes. I just want to make love to myself.
Well, they have toy stores. Come on.
The women's toys are like way more spectacular than the men toys. I mean, y'all got variants of every
Yeah, we
category,
do.
and the men got like two or three things, and then you add lotion or something. It's okay, but it's just funny to think about. All right,
Yeah.
so you're an advocate for
Yeah.
many things, maybe everything, mental health.
Mm-hmm.
What was the other things? Oh, abuse victims
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that,
And disability.
and disabilities. What are you currently? Are you are you in all of those categories with each one of those individual things? That's why you're an
Yeah,
advocate.
I mean, pretty much like I grew up in kind of a religious cult and with really shitty parents who abandoned me, and my grandmother was very abusive. There is a book in our church, the Southern Baptist Convention, that it was written by Debbie and Michael Pearl, that basically teaches the parents how to abuse your children. And the whole discipline thing is you hit them before they do something bad, therefore they won't do the bad thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I grew up this way, and it's why I researched religion. It's why I researched cults growing up, or as I got as an adult. I left my church at 24. Um, and
Were you a Baptist?
yeah, I mean, I grew up Southern Baptist.
Southern Baptist.
So lots
Yeah.
of yelling.
I had a lot of religious influences growing up as well. And I think that's why nowadays, like, I'm not really religious, but I always thank God. Also, you can't even see it, but like, I still have a Bible here, like, you know, because I want to spread that word. But like, I don't believe in organized religion. And I was taught
No, I
Christianity.
feel organized religion is dangerous.
Yeah, it is. It is. But for the people, for the belief aspect, I respect that. Everybody needs to feel that something will take a hold of them or heal them or help
Mm-hmm.
them. And um and it's always good to have faith in something bigger than yourself to
Mm-hmm.
rely upon. And that's one aspect that I'll never get rid of, the notion that there is a God or a this or a that. Whether I
Mm-hmm.
believe it's of physical nature, a God or not, I don't think I do. I believe God is within all of us, that we're all made of energy, that we're all a spirit. And I don't really like organized religion anymore, because the Bible was written by men.
Yeah.
Well,
I
I
mean, it's
could
just a
say
story.
it could be evil, and it's also guidelines on how to live your life. And again, if it was a real God and they gave you life and they gave you freedom, they wouldn't put guidelines. It's just a weird little thought that
Yeah.
I had. But
Yeah,
yeah,
as far as like religion being dangerous, I think some churches obviously can operate and not abuse people. But for the most part, a lot of religious institutions have abuse and patriarchy and sexism written into their policies. Um, and my religion wasn't just abusive to children, it was also abusive to the wife, because the wife, the man is the head of the household, and whatever
yeah,
they say goes.
that's the stuff we're
Thank,
taught.
yeah, thankfully, my grandfather was not heavily into religion. It was just my grandmother doing the beating to me. Um, but yeah, I think it can be really dangerous in the wrong hands.
Yeah.
And we've seen it for decades with like the Catholic Church. The Mormons have billions of dollars, and
I,
they're
I was
essentially
I
abusing
was learning
people.
about John Smith last night. I was actually watching something about a guy named John Smith, and apparently that's the Mormon God or something. I was like, I don't even know, y'all.
I don't know everything about the Mormon Church. I just know some of their abusive tactics. And it all comes from like evangelicals. So even like Southern Baptists and some of the independent fundamentalist Baptist churches are evangelical. So they all kind of umbrella have similar policies on punishments, like food being a privilege to a child and not a basic need.
Speaking of
The
food,
purity culture, and how like gross they can be about sex. Like I was even told I couldn't use a tampon because that's masturbation. What? Like who decided that that was a thing?
well, I mean, I love my father. I don't technically didn't have any abuse growing up. He was like the rock in my relationship. I didn't grow
That's
up with a
good.
mom. She, my mother fell in love with another and moved away. But that's a story for another day. But we were speaking about food, and one of the things, I call it abuse nowadays from my father. It's not abuse, but we would have to finish our entire plate before we were able to drink the milk or the water or the soda or whatever we had. So we had to eat the entire plate. And I'm like, Dad, that's why I'm fat. Come on, man.
Yeah, that was like a typical thing given to given to children. I think my grandmother stopped that pretty quickly because she realized that I would just stay there all night long, like she told me to, because I was indoctrinated into some of those really heavy abuse policies. So I took it seriously. I took it literally. And I don't know if that's also me being autistic. Like when I was told that God was watching me, I literally thought God was watching me.
Again, George Carlin. I don't know if you're into comedians, but George Carlin had one of the funniest sets that I could ever remember. And speaking of my father, it was one of his favorites too. I wouldn't call what my dad did as abuse, but like I said, it was taught to him, and he wanted his kids to eat the meal because we would always get up and go play or do whatever,
Mhm.
and then but my father loved the George Carlin set where he goes, how can you believe in God and religion? I mean, they tell you there's a God. He's in the sky and he watches over you every minute, every day. Like literally in the sky. He's watching over you. Like, come on, man. Come on, man. That's not real. That's not real. All right, let's get into some other interesting topics. And you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. This is a pretty cool conversation. You're the first guest that I'm opening up my world, past conspiracies, and we're talking and getting educated and understanding of other people. So I wanted to thank you for that, Mandy. Again, this is a no judgment free zone, and
You
I'm
mean it's a
sorry if
no?
any. I keep
You
saying it
keep doing
wrong.
the double
This,
double negative.
yeah, I told you I'm not that intelligent. I try to pretend I am,
It's okay.
but
People are still judging me in the comments anyway. It's fine. I get it
yeah,
all day long. It sucks, but
it
it's
hurts. It hurts. I'm an insecure dude, like, and I don't mind
yeah.
admitting that. I think it's brave. Like the other day, yesterday, I did a live stream, and all I did was dye my hair and cut my beard. But I have so many fears because people make fun of the dye job that I don't, buy a barber or this or that, and I was like,
People just want to be mean, and that they
but
just
I,
need to
I
go touch
faced the
grass.
fear. Again, I don't
Yeah,
care about them, but I opened
yeah,
up myself to critique in a
yeah.
fashion that I knew I was going to get it. And I was like, I'm okay with it. So I faced the fear and I'm proud of myself. And now I'm thinking about live streaming, just working around my apartment, cleaning up the apartment, talking to people because I don't have people around a lot. And by being able to actually do those simple things
Mhm.
while live streaming, it feels like I have a friend with me. It feels like I have a
Yeah.
brother. It feels like I have a sister because I'm so damn lonely that I need
I
that.
mean, I do the same thing sometimes. I like to do these little YouTube morning check-ins, like when I'm getting ready in the morning in my bathroom, and just chat with people for
Yeah,
like 20
the
minutes.
girls do that sometimes. Other channels
Well,
they do their
I do a lot of skincare
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
They do
stuff.
their
So
makeup and tell stories. It's pretty great. It's pretty fun.
yeah.
There's this one girl, I forgot her name, but she's a conspiracy theorist or she loves conspiracies and she does her makeup and she gets all prettied up and guzzled up, but she tells conspiracy stories and I just totally enjoy it. I'm like, I'm
Mhm.
hooked. I'm hooked. All
Um,
right.
well, as far as conspiracies, I don't really believe in any conspiracy theories, but I find them fascinating because part of me being a human and being me is I'm fascinated with human nature and human behavior. Um, and so I like just talking to people and hearing other people's stories and their lived experiences because we all are different. And even if we sometimes have similar experiences or go through some of the same things, we still look at them differently. And it's nice to have conversations and not feel so alone if like you're feeling one way or another or you're dealing with something. It's good. I think YouTube has brought me into like wanting to reach out to people more and actually talk to more people because I was such a hermit for so long. I mean, I still kind of am a hermit, but um, I don't know.
Yeah, once you get into the actual education or studying of possible conspiracy theories and then you start to get facts and information from alternative sources, I see it. You're gonna go wild, but we'll keep it to a minimal. But real quickly,
Ghosts.
like, do you
Ghosts is
believe?
where I like.
Yeah, we'll get to that right now. I'll just ask a couple of quick questions about conspiracies because they get that on my channel all the time, and
Yeah.
you don't really subscribe to it. But do you believe we landed on the moon?
Yes.
Okay. I would ask you why, but I'm not going to get into that debate.
There's
Not today's show.
no debate to it, really. I mean, it's just
There is
whatever.
to me. I mean, I
Oh,
can give you stats and video footage and
I probably have
common
heard of some of it. Yeah. No, I mean, and
common
it's not
sense.
something. that's just nice. I feel like it's something I'm just not interested in either, so I don't
Yeah,
really
yeah, that's what I mean.
care.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like, and you, like, I love when you become a conspiracy theorist and you call yourself becoming awake. Like, there was a
Mhm.
moment in my life where I believed everything. Like, I I call it brainwash, but I believed in everything. But then something happened. My third eye opened up, and then I went through a like relationship. Like, I was mad. I started watching videos and educating myself more, and then I went down the rabbit hole, and then nothing was real to me, and it scared the shit out of me because it's like the movie The Matrix. Maybe you're a movie fan, but like
Oh yeah, I'm a
one,
big movie buff.
once you wake up, you cannot see anything the same again. It doesn't mean you're right or wrong. It's just you
Hmm.
can no longer go back to that type of visual or however you thought before. You cannot
Yeah.
go back. And that's what happens with conspiracies. And I always try to tell people, "Oh, look at this video. This is fake. This is a lie. Look at this photo.
Yeah.
Listen to what they said." And then people get mad at me, and then I lose friends because they call me crazy or this or that. But you can't, like with you with conspiracies, it doesn't interest you. So it took me a long time to learn to not force these thoughts on people if they're interested and they know I'm a conspiracy theorist, and if they see something that they don't understand or they go, that's a little weird, then they can come to me and say, Michael, what do you think about this? Is this
Hmm.
real? Is this fake? Then I'll be like, oh, let's check it out. Let's watch some
Yeah.
videos, man. You can,
Yeah.
what is it? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't
Yeah.
make them drink.
Yeah. So I have not really been involved in conspiracy theories, but I've like watched a few conspiracy theories. One that I was interested in for a while. I don't know if you've heard of this. It's called Missing Persons 411.
No, let's go.
Okay. All right. So I forgot the dude's name. I'd have to look it
Input,
up.
input,
I'd have to.
input. I'm like Johnny Five. Johnny Five is
Oh my God, I
alive.
love you. Yeah. So I remember that I started watching this guy, Mr. Ballin, on YouTube, who does. He used to do Missing 411 short stories. Like he would find them and then like tell them to his audience. So it's a very storyteller type of true crime thing. And so this dude wrote a book about Missing 411, which just is all the missing persons cases that are very weird and nothing can be explained, or it's really hard to explain how they went missing, or if they were found, why were they found way over there? And yeah, just weird things like that. Some people can get way into it and not really think logically, and that's where I get like about conspiracy theories. It's like it's good, it's okay to question things. Like I think it's great to question things. You should question things, but also think a little logically. Because there was one case called it's the Elisa Lam case, and so many conspiracy theories happened about this case that they made a documentary about it. And all that happened was that she was bipolar, not on her medication, and had a psychotic break and accidentally died. That was it.
There's
But
something called baby
all of these
reindeer I heard about. Does that involve any of this? Baby reindeer,
no,
some
no, no,
movie
no.
or TV show? I don't know.
No. This was a while ago. And like, yeah, there was footage of like her in the elevator and stuff of this hotel before she somehow got into a water tank and then drowned.
Oh
But
yeah, wasn't that in LA or California?
yes,
Yes, I
yes.
know this story a little bit.
Yeah. So when the story first broke, her parents left out details of her life. And then her sister had to fill in the details. And so basically what happened was she had a psychotic break, unfortunately, and somehow thought that something was following her, or somebody was following her. Yes, the Cecil Hotel. And she climbed on the roof, got into the water tank because it wasn't locked. Someone didn't lock it. And she drowned. She got hypothermia and drowned.
Yeah.
And so a lot of wild conspiracy cases or theories went on about this. But again, it's one of those interesting cases where if you think logically about it and you look at all the pieces, then you're like, okay, this is not really conspiracy. It's just a very unfortunate accident. And so that's basically what the missing 411 cases are about, like weird circumstances that people go missing and they can't find why or anything like that. A lot of them happen in the woods. And then
I stay out of them woods.
Yeah, stay out
I
of the
don't want to
woods.
go in them woods anytime.
Well, what I think happens to a lot of these people who go missing in the woods is they're hiking and maybe like fall. And if you just are off the trail a little bit, nobody can see you.
How about the woods are just no place to be? Stay away from the woods. Even if you're a camper, even if you're in a horror movie, stay away from the woods. Okay? It's just simple. That's
unless you like camping. I mean, what about campers? Should they still not go?
Nah,
you don't like camping?
No. The only camp I actually went to in real life was a fat camp, so I don't want to go to any real camps.
You were in another camp.
Yeah. Yeah. I see what you're doing there.
Yeah.
Hey,
okay. So I have a quick side note on that particular part because I think you would get a kick out of this. So I used to be a burlesque dancer. As I got more and more disabled, it's just something that I just can't return to. I have my other focuses now, and that's what I'm doing. But when I was doing that, in Seattle, we have a it's called BurlesqueCon. It's a burlesque convention or performer convention, and we have themes every year, and so you dress as the theme to the party. And one year it was camp. Guess what I dressed like? Dina,
ZZ.
No, I was just myself, but I did find a Camp Anawana shirt, and so I was just like, Camp Anawana.
Hey, if you guys would like a Camp Anawana shirt or other Salute Your Short stuff, I have merchandise links below. Pick yourself up some up. Support your favorite camper. Quick question: yeah. I was getting to know, or technically dating a burlesque dancer. Mm-hmm. They're all beautiful. I love it all. But I made a joke. She finally invited me to a performance. I guess it was something that she didn't want me to go to because she was thinking of me in another way. I don't know. But she finally invited me to a burlesque performance. And then I go, ooh, I finally get to see you naked. And she took major offense to that joke.
What?
Then she rescinded the offer. And then I noticed, and then I started saying, why did you get mad? She goes, "'Cause I'm not a stripper. I don't get naked."
Oh, come on.
I'm like,
I'm sorry, but
you're technically naked to me, even if I don't see your nipple.
Yeah, it's still stripping, but I understand there is a difference between the professions. Ours is just like burlesque is a very specific type of performance. So I don't understand why people get so upset about that, honestly. I'm sorry about that. I would laugh about it. I'd be like, yeah.
That's why I was excited. I'm like, yeah, finally get to see you naked, and I don't have to take you on a date. I'm going to see you naked. I'm getting it all for free. Let's go. But I don't know. She might have had her own mental stuff, or maybe she didn't want to be in the industry anymore, or she wanted to be respected by me more to not make that joke, or I don't know. But
yeah,
it didn't work. We're still friends.
That's good. But I wanted to go back to the conspiracy theories because you have this podcast that is called Happy Aliens.
Yeah.
So, are we going to talk about aliens?
Yeah, okay. I
want to know who in the chat thinks aliens exist, because I do. I think it's stupid for us to not think that we're the only living beings in the universe. That's just my 2 cents. Now, I don't think they've ever visited here, but I do think there are other life forms for sure. Man, because we don't know. And I don't know if we'll ever know. So it's just one of those weird conspiracy theories in my head where I'm like, okay, this plausibly makes sense to me. Like, why would we be the only living beings in the universe?
Yeah, it's such a loaded question. The simple question is, do you believe in aliens? And apparently you do. But I don't even know if I believe space is real. I don't believe anything they tell us, because I'm just saying there's a lot of stuff about
maybe
firmament.
Maybe you should go to NASA and be like, put me in a rocket.
I mean, that has to make you think as well, like critical thinking. One corporation took over everything that involves all the details, the statistics, the information about space. One corporation. Well, they got China. Yeah, it's owned by NASA. It's called China NASA, or it might be called something different, but it's all under one umbrella. So that makes you think. And it was invented by George Bush, who created the FBI, the CIA, the spy working, and then they get 80 something $5 million a day from our taxpayer dollars. This company.
Oh, I don't know. You're going way deeper than I even know.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. That's what I do. But
yeah.
I believe aliens were always here. That's why I believe we're aliens. I don't know if it's real or not.
Maybe maybe something lived here before dinosaurs even lived here. Like, we only have so much evidence.
I don't even believe in dinosaurs.
What? Come on.
I'm just telling you.
But we have fossils. Come on.
Come on. Think about that. Think about that specifically.
I've seen fossils.
One
of my friends is an archaeologist.
I mean, a lot of the fossils are actually 3D prints in museums. I mean, you really got to look into it.
Well,
and they display
a lot of them
real.
have to be, because they have to be protected. Like, the real things do have to be protected, and things denigrate over time. So you have, like, it's like art when you, like, have specific rooms with specific temperatures to keep things, safe and not denigrate. But the other thing is ghosts. Because I don't know if ghosts are real, but I've had weird experiences. That's all I can say, is I've had weird experiences, and I don't know how to explain them.
I've had a couple. I think I made a video. You guys can watch it later, because I want to hear your experience, not mine. But I made a video called I Met a Ghost Child. And that was one of the most disturbing experiences as an adult that I could ever thought about. To give you the quick lowdown, I was playing with this girl. We were playing marbles and hopscotch, and I got to know this girl like a few apartments down from mine when I was growing up. And then one day, like, she wasn't around. So I started asking, my mother at the time and the landlord, I'm like, where is she? They're like, oh, nobody's ever lived there for the past year or two, because a young girl died in the bathroom. Huh? And then I knew the girl's name and all that. They were like, who were you talking to and who are you playing with? I'm like, that girl. I forgot her name now. It's been a while since I told the story. But, like, I think I hung out with a ghost child. It's pretty intense. So.
See, I grew up in a place where it was basically central station for the Civil War battles. I grew up in Fredericksburg, Virginia. So it's all Civil War there. And so...
Oh, there's a lot of ghosts there. That's a Civil War.
There's a lot of cemeteries, lots of old cemeteries. Now, there was also an old Purina chow building. It's been condemned basically my whole life, but it used to exist.
Did you eat any of the free food?
I'm not a dog.
It doesn't matter. I mean, we can be anything we want to be now.
It won't have any flavor. I've had dog food. It doesn't have flavor.
Sometimes they do. They got like little chicken seasoning. It's pretty good.
No, I've tried one of the Oreo cookies for dogs. It's basically like an Oreo cookie. It just has no flavor to it. It's bland. But anyway,
I used to hang out with people where dogs ate better than I did, and I was getting pissed off. I'm like, why is your dog eating better than I am? Like, I got a Wish sandwich. Do you know what a Wish sandwich is?
No.
I wish I had some damn meat. It's 2 pieces of bread.
Oh.
The dog's eating protein and kibbles and little. Your dog's eating better than me.
You're hilarious.
So you're damn right. I want to be a dog on certain occasions.
So the building, you can see from our downtown area, there's the train goes through there that goes all the way to DC and stuff. And the top of the building, you can see. And there was a story of someone hanging themselves in the top window. And I could have sworn one night when I was walking around, I don't remember if I was on acid. I may have been. I'm not sure. But I thought I saw someone swinging up there.
So you've done acid. Okay.
I've done a bunch of things. I was a ruly teenager.
Yeah, we're getting to that. Oh my goodness.
And then there was a time where
Lucy in the sky with diamonds.
there was a time at my friend's house where we were all in the living room and the door squeaks. It has a very specific creak when it opens. And we thought we heard it open. And we looked and we were like, nobody opened the door. And then occasionally we would see that the guitar pedals would be turned on, but nobody was near them. And we found out that this place that looks like an old house, because a lot of downtown Fredericksburg is old colonial. I live right by where Mary Washington grew up. And that house was actually a funeral home.
That's George's wife, right?
Yeah, Mary Washington.
George's wife, Mary.
George's wife is Mary. Yeah, I lived right next door to. It's called Kenmore Inn. It's like a museum now, but I lived right by her house. And yeah, so where my friends lived was like literally inside a converted apartment house, and it was a funeral home. And so that's what we thought. Like, oh, maybe there's ghosts from like being here at the funeral home.
So you saw one? Or you have an experience?
No, it was more like auditory things and like weird things that we were just like, what was that?
I've asked this to a couple of my other... Man, I've had a lot of girls on my show. I guess that tells you what I'm looking for in life. I'm looking for a wifey.
Pete and Pete.
But,
sorry, someone mentioned Pete and Pete. I love that show.
Yeah, everybody does. I've never watched it, to be quite honest with you. I've never finished it, even though I'm good friends with Danny and Michael, you know, the stars.
Yeah.
And we're doing some conventions together, but I've never really finished it or watched it. But I ask everybody, do you think... Okay, so you believe ghosts are real? I don't know why I have the banner about aliens, but do you think ghosts can actually have sex with a human being?
No.
In the Ghostbusters movies, remember? Like, he was getting a BJ or whatever from the ghost.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, the ghost was giving one of the main Ghostbusters like a blowjob or something, and he was like, oh, enjoying it. Like, and then there's a TV show called Doom Patrol, and they have like sex ghosts. They have sex ghosts that have sex on the screen, and then they actually, I think they innuated that they actually, the sex ghosts have sex with some of the people, you know, in reality. And I was like, do you believe that could happen if ghosts are real? That's crazy.
Yeah, I think there was also another movie that did that. Was it Hollow Man? I think it was Hollow Man, where I guess it wasn't much of a ghost. I think it was an invisible person, and like that had sex with the character in the movie.
What superpower would you want? To be invisible?
Superpower?
To be invisible or to fly?
Oh, I hate heights. I mean, I already feel invisible. I actually really enjoy Rogue in X-Men. I kind of like her power.
I kind of want to be invisible. I think I'm a little bit of a freak. Now that I'm in my midlife crisis, I'm like going through menopause. I don't know if men have menopause, but I'm going through something because like I think I'd want to be invisible nowadays. I want to watch everything. I want to watch you lie about me. I want to watch what you say about me. I want to see you naked somehow. I think invisibility would be what I want. Albeit I have a lot of dreams about flying, and I don't know what.
Oh yeah, I think that's a typical thing for people to dream about flying.
Do you know what it might represent? I think I looked it up years ago, and it's sort of like some things said that the reason why you fly above people or because you look down on them, and I don't want to take that. I think it's that I want to be better than I am, so I want to go above. It's just interesting what they might say about it, you know?
Yeah, I've looked at dream books in my youth, but I wasn't sure if like anything ever related to what I was like hoping it would in my dreams, but I tend to not remember mine anymore. I was very vivid dreamer when I was younger because of probably trauma, PTSD. nightmares. But I have since gotten on a medication that allows me to actually sleep through the night.
Yeah, it's called
It's the
alcohol.
it's the same medication that they give to war vets with PTSD too.
Man, I guarantee you, if I actually went to like doctors or whatever they call themselves again, I have issues with everything. I don't want to be prescribed anything.
I
If
have
I
issues
can't
with
learn how to
doctors
deal with it
too.
on my own, if I can't learn how to deal with it on my own, I mean, there are certain things for your health that you, no matter what, you can't avoid it. But I try to
Mhm.
avoid pharmaceutical medicines for every aspect, for sleeping, for this, for that. I don't want to get down that road.
I understand. I have friends that are like that too. I wish that I could be off of mine, but because of my disabilities, it's what it is. The only thing I want to be off of and replace it with microdosing shrooms is my brain medication, the one for depression. Because I honestly feel like every time I've microdosed, because I've actually researched it and like I played around with the dosages with my body to see where my brain is comfortable. That shit works. It makes me feel open, clear, focused, happy, even like makes me wake up happy. Shrooms are magical.
For how long though? I mean, like, reality sets in again, so you might have to take another shroom or however that works.
Well, no, it would be like regular microdosing. The thing is, the reason why I haven't switched is because I would need a actual consistent, steady supply of it.
Yeah.
And I don't have
I'll
that
be
option right
I'll
now.
be your mushroom dealer.
Well, I
I'll
mean,
be your fun guy.
when I come down, when I come down to California, I'm gonna get some of those chocolate bars again.
Chocolate bars. We got pimento. What is the name of the mushrooms? Because I was going to try to make a joke, but I didn't know any names of mushrooms. I'll be your mushroom dealer. I got portobellos.
Or there's oyster ones. Is
I
that
got
one?
oysters. But yeah, but you know what? It is becoming popular, and I would be lying to you if I haven't thought about it. But I'm afraid of drugs, and every time I
Mm.
have done any drug, it's been the worst experience in my life. And I'm so proud. And I say God did that to me so I could learn my lesson to not want to do those drugs again. So in a weird way, I'm happy I had the weirdest and
Mhm.
scariest experiences of my life while doing some of these drugs. And because I don't ever want to have that happen again ever. But I have been thinking because my brain it just doesn't stop. It is like I just need to learn how to relax, and I really don't want to go to alcohol or this or that. But I've been thinking about mushrooms and trying that experience, but I'm very very afraid of it.
Well, you
And
live in a state that it's very regulated. And when I went there last time and I got those chocolate bars, they have them in like little squares, and it shows you what each dose is, and they're micro doses. So you could start with that and just take one tiny microdose. It's like literally a 0.1 of a gram.
come on, man, do some
Oh my
microdosing.
God,
All
am
the
I
cool
peer
kids are
pressuring
doing
you?
it.
Oh no. Oh
All the
no, I'm
cool
peer
kids are
pressuring
doing it. Dare,
you.
drug abuse resistance educate. All the cool kids are doing it. Mandy's doing it. Mandy McGee, yeah, that's right. She's doing it. Come on, Mikey. Come on, Mikey. Do some microdosing with us.
Oh, you're hilarious. No, when I was younger, around 1920, I did experiment. I was also in an extremely bad place in my life, head-wise. Because growing up with parents who are addicts, was difficult enough, and I realized that I didn't actually want to do any of those drugs because I didn't want to be like my mother.
He's right
But
though. Slug is right. He said Mikey would eat the whole candy bar. You're right. You're right, dude.
nice.
I'd have a glass of milk and I'd be like, dude, that chocolate was good.
But so I wanted to let people know how you and I like came in contact with each other, because it was
Um,
a
I
nice
was
little.
horny. I was horny one night.
Oh my
I'm
God.
sorry. I have to make these jokes. This is who I am. Accept me. Accept me. I'm just kidding.
I already have, okay?
No. I mean, yeah, tell the story and then we'll get into the documentary and
Yeah.
some other topics. But yeah, tell the story.
So It goes a lot along with like some of my advocacy, because I got in touch with Alexa Nicholas, who kind of started the movement for protest Nickelodeon and stuff. And so I had been working with her. And then, so I already knew a lot of this stuff before the documentary came out. Obviously, the Drake Bell stuff was brand new to everybody. A lot of the Dan Schneider stuff, like how he treated his writers, the female writers, I didn't know that part, but everything else I already knew. And when I started seeing people's videos pop up, somehow yours just popped up into my feed, and I clicked on it, watched it, and then I decided to reach out to you.
The algorithm got it.
It did. My algorithm fed me you. And yeah, and then we just started chatting, and
I'm still on the heel. I'm still on the heels of all that, but yeah, no, you sent me some kind words, and I was actually it has now officially become another PTSD traumatic situation in my life just for telling a story. I can get into that on another time, but
I think you and I have discussed
yeah,
a little bit of it.
It was nice to meet people and have some kind words, especially from a beautiful alien. Like I like to call everybody aliens. My internet seems to be going a little bit low for some reason, but forgive me.
You're still here. I still see you. I still hear you. It's a little slow, but it's okay.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on that whole documentary thing? And yeah, just from your perspective.
I mean, I'm glad that something official finally came out that can like reach more of an audience. I think some of the things that need to be discussed next is maybe like the Disney stuff, because we know for a fact that Disney hired a few convicted predators. And you know what they said when they hired them? Like the first one they hired, the one that I know about before Brian Peck, was Victor Salva. He directed Powder. And their response to that was, well, he did his time. And I'm sitting here thinking, no, you harm children. You should never be allowed to work with children ever again. Full stop, period.
I mean, the documentary, now looking back, it can be two things. It can be great education and awareness for some of the stuff that people don't even think about. But also the documentary, because it's still in the Hollywood realm, and they are technically feeding the beast. Now, it seems like, and I feel this way looking back, that they might have created their own monster. I mean, it helps a lot of people, but there were actual victims from being a part of the documentary in some sense. And it's just really, really weird to think about,
But that's also the unfortunate thing about coming forward too and making yourself so public about that, because you do open yourself up to everybody having an opinion about your trauma. I mean, think about it in a court sense. It's the same thing. You have to relive your trauma. You have to tell it all over again. And then you have to listen to lawyers pick apart your trauma.
Yeah.
So I think it's okay for people to not come forward, because some people are not okay with being so public about it. And I think that's fine. And I think the people who did come forward, I applaud them. Even like, and I've told you this, with your story, you didn't have anything specifically bad happen to you, but you had a story that shows a pattern of behavior with Brian Peck. And those patterns of behavior matter. Context matters.
And a Nickelodeon executive with a very scary instance, but the problem was and forgive me if I trigger anybody or if I say the wrong words, but like with my story of being invited to a hotel with my best friend at 16 years of age or whatever it might have been, with this Nickelodeon executive, it somehow, when I told my story, it involved and brought bad thoughts for my actual show, and cast members and all that. And I have to respect that. But I didn't name the person. And the producers of the documentary and a few other people wanted to take that on, and they wanted that information. Like, this person was an actual convicted, known, or possibly known pedophilia, and they needed more content. And like, and that's where it really bothered me, is because it was a scary moment, and I don't even know if their intentions were to groom. I don't really know. But or if their intentions were that they just wanted me in a hotel. Again, it's all bad visually, I get it, but it just it kind of felt like cancel culture, to me after. Like, they can't get enough information, they cannot, out enough people, even for a story, a bad joke, a bad moment in that person's life. They find out a story about a bad moment in somebody else's life, and then they automatically put him on the pedophilia level. And I can't say that about that person when it didn't happen.
Are you talking about Dan?
No,
in the lawsuit?
I had a
you're talking about the other person. Okay, sorry.
Yes, we had a Nickelodeon executive fly down while we were starting Salute Your Shorts. And he befriended me on the weekends with my best friend, took us to Universal, and all that. And then they had movies in the hotel where you can watch like a movie before it's right out of theaters. And it's in the hotel. Like, you can buy it for like $20 in the hotel before it's on VHS or DVD or whatever. And he invited us, to watch a movie in his hotel. And long story short, now as an adult understanding all of this stuff, I'm like, wow, was that grooming? Like, was that the moment where if I didn't leave, because he pulled out a beer or alcohol or something, and then I knew to leave. My parents were on it. My best friend's mother was taking care of us at the time. She was actually at the downstairs restaurant, and she's like, go ahead, you guys go watch that movie, because it's not going to be on home video, whatever. But she was downstairs in the restaurant. And long story short, we left. But I just think the world.
I think you have good instincts then. Like, your gut told you something, and you got out of there. You didn't.
Well, yeah, they did. The parents did as well. But again, it just felt like the documentary and some other people that were telling me, "Oh, name him." I followed his career, and I've never seen anything bad from him. And he wasn't a part of Nickelodeon a few years later. And, to be quite honest with you, I told the people on our show about that interaction, because I had to go work with him a couple of days later.
Oh.
He was removed from our show.
Good.
But I didn't want to mention the producers that basically fired him and removed him. But it all got handled. So our experience on our show was technically a good one. But I just think the world wanted to create him as an official pedophile, wanted to out him. Yeah. And it feels like that's cancel culture.
Yeah. I think that's also a thing that comes from also the true crime genre in general, which being involved with cases and stuff or watching cases happen, I have to be clued into true crime, and I try my hardest to research who's doing the stories and where the money's going, because it is extremely important to me for it to be survivor-led, for the victim to have control over their story. And there's a lot of documentarians, try to get that word out, a lot of people who make true crime documentaries who, try to not think really about the mental health of the victim that they're interviewing or trying to get a story out of, and they may edit it wrong or weird or leave things out. We know this about also the Scientology documentary left a bunch of things out that I know.
You're good at segues. You're really good at segues. You're really good at it.
Yeah, and then that's where my major focus has been pretty much since the documentary ended, the Leah Remini series. There were 3 seasons of it. I got heavily involved in the anti-Scientology movement because
let's get into that. I just wanted to ask the Dan Schneider
yeah,
question because I think it's a very valid one. So Dan Schneider is suing the production company
you're right. Yeah.
of Quiet on the Set for defamation. First off, do you think he'll win?
No.
And do you think it's a good look?
On him doing a lawsuit?
Yes, I guess.
He looks like a fucking idiot doing a lawsuit. He also looked like a fucking idiot doing that apology video.
Oh yeah, it was ridiculous. It's all ridiculous.
The thing is, defamation is extraordinarily hard to prove. And or to like get anything to. He basically has to prove a lot of things. Like whoever's bringing forth the suit, it's on them to prove that where the defamation is and what has destroyed his life, something like that. This documentary has not destroyed his life. His life was already destroyed because of him getting let go, and he got a payoff from Nickelodeon. They did not, in my opinion, because of a lot of stuff that I've heard over the years, stuck to the facts. There are things that they could have just thrown in there that may have been defamation that I know is circulating conspiracy theories, but that's the thing. They did a good job at leaving those things out and sticking to the facts. And as long as there's facts ain't defamation.
Yeah. Again, I mean, people don't disseminate correctly.
Yeah.
So when it's in a documentary where they talk about actual pedophiles, and then they put a pedophile first, then they talk about Dan Schneider in the middle, then they put a pedophile at the end. In a weird way, you're sandwiching abusive, ridiculous behavior in between actual convicted pedophiles. So the mainstream audience watches that and they go, oh, it's about pedophilia. The whole thing's about pedophilia, and then Dan Schneider is sandwiched in the middle with his toxic, ridiculous
but that's
behavior.
just the optics. So that's just the promo thing. None of that, like nobody said that in the documentary, and that's what matters. If he is to bring the lawsuit, what matters is what was actually said in the documentary. I don't know what the complete laws in California is on defamation. But I know it's really hard in general to bring a defamation suit and win. I was in a defamation suit myself. Ooh. A predator tried to sue me and my friends, including the person he hurt.
The predator? The actual predator from the movies?
Yes, the actual predator.
Trying to make a bad joke out of it.
No, I got it.
The predator sued you. I would love to see that skit. You'd have the predator in the courtroom in the whole outfit and everything. I'm suing Mandy McGee.
So because I was in that kind of situation, I learned a lot about defamation cases in general and how the court system works.
Yeah.
I don't think he has a case at all. I understand that he thinks like he might have a little leg to stand on when it comes to that like optic look of the promo, but what is going to be up for debate is what is defamation in the actual documentary, what was said. Now, the reason why they included him obviously is because he also did abusive behavior, and we have proof of that. There were lawsuits from the women writers. So there's paper trail of all of that stuff.
Yeah, of course.
So, and he did sexual harassment. Now, if he did it, nobody has ever said that he did anything with kids other than the conspiracy theory that Jamie Lynn Spears' kid is his, which again, I'm glad they did not bring any conspiracy theories into it. So again,
and he had a close relationship with Amanda Bynes, in the jacuzzis or whatever.
And they have paper trail of that incident happening where cops were called to his house when he was trying to get her to live with him. And it could just be an innocent thing, but it still was weird.
Again, I'll be honest with you. Again, I live in the conspiracy world, but I also call it critical thinking. Today's justice system rewards the abusers. I'm
A
just
lot of
going to be
times.
honest with you. Today's
The
justice
system
system
is broken.
and
The
it's
system is
broken.
broken.
So he has a leg to stand on because it's probably going to be in Hollywood, and
Well, yeah, but they have really
message.
strict laws in California courts about defamation. That's
Yeah,
why I
no,
don't think
you're
he'll win
definitely
it.
right. But I'm
Yeah.
just saying, like, I don't understand how it'll all work, but
Yeah.
nothing would boggle my mind if he won. You know what I mean? Like, if he won. And it's also a message to other production companies that want to out pedophiles or anything like that. Shut your mouth, because we will sue you. You know, if they allow him to win. It's a if Hollywood is abusive by nature, it's a way for them to make him win,
And
to
shut everybody else up.
shut everybody else up, and they'll never make documentaries again. They'll be afraid to, because that's what they did to Alex Jones. Alex Jones talked about, the event of the Sandy Hook, and then he got sued for like $85 billion. I mean, come on, that's a fraudulent lawsuit of defamation, and they won.
Yeah, I didn't watch the whole thing, so I don't know a lot. I can't really speak on that whole case.
Oh yeah, no, I was just saying, but it scares people that want to give their opinions on, possible conspiracy theories or events that were. So now we watch our leader, the guy that just spoke his opinion, get sued for like $90 billion or whatever it was, and now we're afraid to even speak. So it's a way to shut people out, and it's very scary. So
I mean, I think what he was doing was actual defamation, because you can't just say something as fact and it, not be fact. Like,
yeah,
that's what defamation is.
Yeah, I have to disagree on that. But again, everybody has their opinion. Again, I don't know.
Yeah, and all the courts are kind of different. Like, I think around that time that Alex Jones was getting sued, I was more paying attention to the defamation suit of Amber Heard and Johnny Depp.
That was a toxic relationship, bro. Both of them were toxic.
Yeah, we don't have to get into that. We already know it all. We don't have to get into it, but yeah.
That Hollywood stuff is like scary AF. Like, when you really break it down, you're watching it and you're like, you're listening to the audio.
It's really scary for children. That's why there needs to be more protections for children, and that's why I'm really happy that these child stars that are now grown up are speaking out and trying to actually get change made for the future
for
people. Yeah, that too.
For themselves.
Because I also think it's absolutely ridiculous that you only have to put away 15% of your child's earnings. That is insane. That is such little money. And people think that, like, and also the fact that kids can't get residuals.
Well, it depends on every situation.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
From what I heard, for the most part, children don't get residuals. Like Drake Bell said that he gets no residuals from anything. It's written into their contracts, and I think
certain contracts are different. Contracts are different. We on our Nickelodeon show, we were under AFTRA before SAG and AFTRA joined.
Okay.
So we had an AFTRA contract, which is very little money, but we get residuals through AFTRA, but they can air it 5 times. Then we get paid one residual on the 6th time. So they can air each episode 5 times for free before they have to pay us on the 6th time. And then after the 6th time, they can air it another 5 times for free. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so lame.
I got like 22 or 3 checks, not checks, but money sent to my account, and it equaled to like $18 out of like 23.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, I'll take the $18. That paid for my StreamYard streaming today.
It is really unfair, Cheetah Man. I feel like Hollywood just likes to use children as objects, basically. They don't, and the only reason why they get paid and have any protections to begin with is because of a case that happened in the 30s, where I think it's called the Pickford Act, where Mary Pickford's dad literally spent everything that she earned. And
same thing happened to Gary Coleman.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Gary Coleman, my friend Dustin Diamond, who played Screech, had major issues with his
Oh,
family.
R.I.P.
Yeah, a lot of these actual rules were not set in
Oh,
place.
Coogan. You're right. I
Yeah,
said the
Keith
wrong
Coogan,
name.
or the
Coogan Law.
Coogan Law. The
Coogan
Coogan
Law.
Law. That's
That's
what
what
it
it is.
was.
I was thinking of a different actress. Ugh.
I love Keith Coogan. I love the Keith Coogan Law. You know who Keith Coogan is?
No.
Don't tell mom the babysitter's dead.
Oh, yeah.
He married a fan. Like he met a girl that was like a fan of his, and they ended up falling in love. Because I always never wanted to date a fan. I never wanted to because I just felt like it's a weird abuse of
Doesn't it
power.
seem weird? Yeah.
Because maybe I have power above them because they love me or they
Mhm.
like me. And then when they find out the realness of who I am, that I'm flawed and I have a ton of issues, then they're like, the fandom is gone.
Everybody's flawed.
The fandom is
Everybody.
gone. So now I'm not real anymore, so that power dynamic is gone.
Yeah, there's some people that are talking about Macaulay Culkin. Yeah, I think he had his money stolen from him as well, and I think he sued his dad. Aaron Carter had the same thing happen to him, even though he ended up repairing his relationship with his mother later in life before he died. She had stolen all of his money as a kid, unfortunately.
I didn't have that much money. So these actors, they had a lot more than I did growing up. I ain't gonna lie. I started taking on a lot of the responsibility once I started making money, because my dad was very old when he had us, and his life was a musician. He's also like an entertainer, so he didn't have a lot of money. So I guess it was good that I took on those responsibilities. I wish I didn't have to, but I'm proud of where my life went. But I took on a lot of those responsibilities. But life is what it is, and we have what we have, and let's talk about Scientology.
Yeah, we have to just adapt and make the best of it, right?
Yeah.
I want to know.
Let's talk about Scientology. Okay,
what your experience was with the thing that you told me, if you want to talk about it with Scientology.
I've probably told you a ton of things. I don't always remember. Forgive me.
All you said was that you dabbled in that.
Oh, so we're talking about Scientology. Okay.
Yes. You dabbled in Scientology, and Danny Masterson and Lauren Prepron were involved.
Well, tell us your story of what you're doing with. Did I spell it right? It doesn't even look like I spelled it right.
No, you didn't spell it right.
Scientology.
OLO. Yeah, whatever. We'll leave the typo. It's fine.
I'll say I have a disability. What's that disability where you read and write backwards or whatever?
Dyslexia.
I got
it. Yeah, so I got involved with Scientology. I've been modding for some ex-Scientologists who grew up in it as children and are taking a stand.
What do you mean modding?
It.
What do you mean modding for ex-Scientologists?
So they're the people who are on YouTube telling their stories.
Oh, moderator. Oh, sorry.
Yes, sorry. When I mod for them, moderating. So there's like a whole community now of us called SPTV. And if you know about Scientology, SP means suppressive persons. And that's what you're declared when you leave the church. You're a suppressive person. So all of us who do Scientology stuff with our channels are called SPTV. And a new foundation has started called the SPTV Foundation. And it's just to like have money reserves for Scientologists that get out and need mental health care, need food, need housing, need clothes, whatever. Because when people leave, they literally leave with nothing because you have nothing. You own nothing when you're in a cult.
Correct.
And it's not just Scientology. Like when you're in a cult in general and you're locked up and locked in there, you don't own anything. You don't even have your own passport or ID or anything. They take it all. And I feel very strongly about the Scientology thing because if we were able to get their tax exempt status taken, they would crumble. The only reason why they're still around is because of the stupid tax exempt status.
And a religion. They give all the.
They think, they tell the public's a religion. They don't do it. It's not a religion. It's stupid. But
were you ever officially a member? Did you go through all the processing and
no. No, I was a never in. Like I did my religious cult growing up, and then I got out of that. Thought that I needed God still, and then realized that's not for me. But I feel very strongly with at least trying to get the tax exempt status taken down, because there's too many cults in this world and we cannot take them all out. But if you can focus on the things that would kneecap a cult, and for Scientology, it's that tax exempt status. And all cults are human trafficking. That's one thing that people don't think about. You're human trafficking mostly children in Scientology. You're using people for labor, child labor, elderly labor. Like,
our government is even human trafficking at this very moment. It's so scary to think about. Uh, God, I hate when my brain goes to everything.
yeah, I
Um,
know.
but yeah, so you didn't really get it. You didn't buy the books. You didn't go through the
Mm-mm.
classes. You didn't start it, huh?
No, I did not start it. I never wanted to. I just got involved with, I met people who were in it, and I'm fighting alongside them.
Go be a rogue journalist. Go, bring a camera in now and film it.
Well,
And
yeah, when I do go out, I don't go out protesting very often because it's just very hard on my body. Plus, the Seattle org is kind of dead. There's not much going on there. It's
I
not
got
as
the
it's not as
celebrity
bad as the
center is
LA
right up the
one.
street.
Yeah, it's
I
not as
got the
bad as the
celebrity.
LA one.
Yeah, we got the celebrity center over the hill in Hollywood on
Yeah.
Franklin. Then we got the one in North Hollywood in my area. We got the big Scientology center down the street. It's
Yep.
insane. They're all over
Neba
this place.
Neba 29, you are correct. Shelly Miscavige. She has been missing since Tom and Katie got married. And that's what started Leah Remini starting to question things, because she didn't see Shelly at the wedding, and that was a red flag to her. And then she couldn't get a hold of her friend. And then they told her that she didn't have the rank to be asking where David Miscavige's wife was. So she eventually got declared. She left with her whole family and started that documentary series once, some other like Sea Org members like Mike Render and stuff were able to escape. And that's the thing with cults. Like, if you're a public Scientologist, it's very different, because they still will try and get you to stay, but they don't have as much of a hold on you as the people who can't pay. And when you can't pay, you are locked up in the hotel during labor. And there's security everywhere. There are cameras everywhere. You literally have to escape.
Yep. Unfortunately, if you guys want to look up, maybe it's still on the internet, but if you look up Donkey Lips and Scientology, you're going to find some stuff. Possibly.
Oh,
I don't even, maybe on the archives. I don't even know how that works anymore. But being an actor, being around a lot of people that want a new beginning, that are starting to question mainstream religion and
sorry.
other things.
We have a special guest
No
all of a
worries.
sudden.
Is that your little Katie cat?
Yeah,
Kitty
this
cat?
is Scout. This is Scout with extra thumbs.
Oh, he's a cutie. Hi,
Okay,
Scout.
go back to sleep. Go back to sleep.
You just woke him up to parade him
Yeah,
around? Man,
yeah,
what a brat you
yeah.
are. Look at that.
I'm horrible. Yeah.
Horrible human. You just
All
pick up
right.
your cat.
I
That's
want to
going to
hear
go
your
viral.
Yeah, I want to hear your Scientology story, because we know that Scientology likes celebrities.
Well, like I was saying, being an actor, starting to question religion and everything, then you see on TV all these celebrities, you know, um, being on mainstream TV shows and whatever. And then you start thinking, maybe there is a leg up. Maybe there's a lot of producers. Maybe there's a lot of casting directors. And, if you can get into that society while also learning a new religion, it'll help your career. That's what they sold it on for the
Mm,
most part, to actors.
yeah.
And that's what we saw. And as actors, like I said earlier, I feel we're all brainwashed from the minute we decide to be an actor to going to acting classes. We're all being taught a system.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's an ideology, but just we're being taught to do whatever they say and to try to build a career and make money, but we're always
Right.
having people in control of us in some sense. and we're not who we are. We have to play different characters. So we don't technically know who we are, and we're always questioning
Right.
and looking for more. So that was the big draw for Scientology. And then around this time,
How old were you?
when all of this Scientology stuff started to
Yeah.
happen, God, I have to think back.
Do you remember like what year or something?
Yeah, it's probably around 2005, probably around 2004 or 5. Um, because I did, no, it was around the time, it was before Dude, Where's My Car? So when was Dude, Where's My Car that came out? Was that
Oh my
2000?
gosh. I don't remember. I remember seeing that. It was in the 2000s, right?
Yes. No, it was after Dude, Where's My Car? Sorry, I'm thinking about Ashton and Laura. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It was around, let's give it a time frame of 2000 to 2005, okay?
Okay. Yeah.
But I was hanging out, going to acting classes with a lot of these people, and they were getting into it as well. And we got flyers. Oh, come do an assessment. Come do a reading where they put your hands on these things, and then all that.
The e-meter
Oh
cans.
yeah, you'd be a good candidate. This again, I won't always remember the phrases because I tried to distance myself from that time in my life. So forgive me. It might seem like it's not truthful because I don't know all the specific words. I just don't want to think about it. But Laura Prepron, I was in acting class with her. Ashton, I was filming like Dude, Where's My Car? And some of the creators of our Nickelodeon show also wrote the 70s show. So I was hanging out on the set with all of them. And then I got a flyer, and then I had this girl that moved in with me to like live in my room while my brother was in rehab, to live in his room. And she wanted to become an actress. And saw all the Scientology stuff and the famous actors. Hey, let's go do it. And I'm like, Laura does it. I think Danny does it. Danny Masterson. I'm like, I think Ashton dabbles in it, and a couple of other people that I knew. I'm like, let's go on an adventure. So we went to the Celebrity Center. We made an appointment. And we did like the first reading and all that. Then we signed up for class. The minute you give them any information, you give them your address, phone number. They all on top of it. They ask for the Social Security on that first visit. They asked for the Social Security. But I gave it to them.
Oh, no.
I mean, I was interested. You get it?
Yeah.
I was kind of interested, really.
Yeah.
A lot. So,
especially if your like friends are doing it, I can understand the appeal.
So I started classes. I was going there. Then all of a sudden, you find out about the levels, and they don't tell you the Xenu thing. They don't tell you all of that when you're on a certain level. Like I was like on level 0.1, like because they want to indoctrinate you until fully they tell you the crazy batshit shit.
Yeah.
They want to
They make it seem like
you
have to level up to get to the top secret stuff of Scientology.
Correct. So, I was going into classes, and it was about empowerment, how to manage your life. And then you had to buy some books. It felt like a college. Oh, you got to buy these books. And then, if you graduate or you take this course, then we'll do a financial assessment so we can reassess your life. We can do a financial assessment on your life, how you can save money, and how you can be a better person, more opportunities, because you don't need money. You don't need this. You don't need that. We're going to empower your life. We're going to.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Sounds good to me. Let's go. All right. Then I passed my courses. I bought some books. Next thing you know, I moved to 0.2. All right. Now I get the financial assessment. Yay. Then all of a sudden, on my credit cards, I had a bunch of books bought on their behalf for levels 1, 2, and 3. And I'm not even near there. Why do I got to buy all these books and you're charging me for levels I'm not even in yet?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's our procedure. Okay. Next thing you know, hey, let's do a financial assessment. What do you own? What is this? What is that? What is that? Blah, blah, blah. Oh, I'm buying my house and this and that. Here's the situation. Okay, cool. Next thing you know, maybe a month or so later, all of a sudden I get a report, and I look up like credit reports and my housing contract situation with the lady that owned the house. I was buying the house from her. She's like, oh, who's these Scientology people calling me and asking to put you on the contract, to put them on the contract for my house.
What?
Yeah,
Holy
they wanted a copy of the contract, and
wow.
they told the landlord person that was selling me the house that they want to see the contract, renegotiate it, and she'll get more money in the future. And then she calls me and tells me that, and I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, I'm at level 0.2, and now you guys want to see my house contract and put your name on
Yeah,
it or
wow.
whatever. And
I
then
mean,
I
that's what a
started
lot of
freaking
cults
out.
do. That's what a lot of cults do. You like a lot of like the FLDS, like when you go to them and you don't have enough money, they'll like be like, well, sign your house over to us. We'll keep it safe. Like everything is safe. Like they always like try to sugarcoat
That's
and
what
put
they
rose
said.
colored glasses. Yeah.
We got lawyers because my house situation, and I don't want to get into it here. It's a very traumatic experience because I lost my house that I thought I was buying many years ago. I lost it like in 2019, and I lost everything. But yeah, they were trying to get into it and change it all up. It was a very unique contract. Like a one person, it wasn't a company selling me the house. We didn't have brokers. It was like a lady that was forced to give me the house and sell it to me little by little. It was a big thing, but they were trying to get on that actual contract. And I'm like, that was scary. So I started telling Laura and all them, and they're like, oh, that's the procedure. They're going to help you out with your finances. They're going to minimize your life, this and that. And then I was like, yeah, you know what? No, I don't got anything to begin with. So they're wanting to charge me for books and classes and courses already. I ain't got nothing, y'all. I'm not as rich as you guys. I'm not on a primetime TV show called The 70s Show, And then they were like, oh, just, continue it. If you have any issues, I'll be an advocate for you. Like, if you need me to be. I'm like, okay. But the more I thought about it, like when I was alone, I was like, I'm out of there. I'm out of there. Yeah. So I stopped going. I just completely stopped going. Then phone calls. Where are you? You weren't in class. I canceled my credit cards because I was afraid they were going to do something to it. I canceled it. Then I get phone calls. I get emails, whatever way. Then people started coming to my house from the Scientology. Then all of a sudden I get their magazine subscription. I never ordered their magazine subscription, but now I get it. Wait.
As soon as you give them your name, they will just send you stuff for the rest of your life.
Yeah, it was getting really, really scary. And after the conversation with, the lady, the landlord, technically, that was selling me the house, or trying to, again, it's such a complicated situation. Sorry, I just keep realizing that I lost all my dreams in 2019. Sorry.
I'm so sorry.
I've lost so much. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Where was I? Yeah, so I hung out with like gangsters, and I don't want to say Mexicans or gangsters or people or whatever, but I hung out with a little bit of a rough crowd. I'm like a Mexican in a white world or whatever, if you want to call it. But I distanced myself from them as best as possible. And then they started coming to my house and knocking on doors and wanting to speak with me. And then there was one moment where I just said, I'm out. I ain't doing it no more. I don't appreciate it. I'm done. Whatever you got to do on your contracts, your end, I'm done. Oh, well, we'll have our lawyers call you. I'm like, what the?
Oh my God. Yeah, did they try to do a freeloader debt on you?
No, I don't think I was that involved.
Sometimes people leave, don't leave because they think they have what's called a freeloader debt, where if you leave the cult, they all of a sudden you have a debt to them, like $40,000 or $30,000, whatever number they make up, that you owe them back for.
Well, they were telling you, yeah, they gave me a letter that I somehow owed them like $9,000.
Yeah.
They delivered a letter that said you owe this to the church because you technically, when you signed up for the classes, these classes were mentioned in the future, and you have to pay them regardless.
Not legal.
No, I know, but no. So
but some people think it is. Yeah, some people think it is. It's the same thing with NDAs, because like if you sign an NDA and a crime is committed, the NDA is null and void. If a crime is committed, it's null and void completely. Like It's really shitty that people think that when they sign NDAs, it's like absolutely binding. And in some cases it is. But again, if a crime is committed, it's null and void. And I just don't think enough people know that.
Yeah. So you're reminding me of some of the scary instances, but long story short, I told there was one guy this one day, and I said, "Hey, I'm out. This and that. I don't care what you're giving me. You're sending me. I'm out. I'm done. I'm gonna have my lawyers contact you if this continues for harassment. Don't ever come back again, or I will shoot you guys for being on my property." And then he's like, "Is that a threat? Do we need to get our lawyers involved?" I'm like, "Do whatever you got to do, bro. I'm telling you right now. Don't come back again. I'm out." Then all of a sudden they came back again, and I knew they would because it was like clockwork every month. It was like
Mhm.
clockwork. They had somebody come, and then I had some rough people and friends in my life, and I had a shotgun, and I literally opened the door,
Nice.
and he was walking up the little way, and he's like, "I'm out of here. Good riddance."
Nice.
And that was the last I did. But then
Good.
because they knew I was in contact and hanging out with Laura and Danny and all them, they came to me on, each different a couple occasions. "Hey, what's going on? What happened?
Uh,
You got to not be afraid." I was like, "You guys, look, I'm done. I hope you can respect that. We're friends. Let's play poker. Let's hang out. Do whatever we got to do. I'm done. I don't want to deal with this no more." We're still friends to this day, technically. And then I guess Danny Masterson's in jail now, so like all that other stuff, I don't know.
well, yeah, but that's because he liked to drug
Abuse
and
somebody or did something. Oh
our
no, it was
people.
the grape. Yeah, the grape
Yep,
people.
the graping. Yep.
Yeah.
And La Poubelle, if you don't know, is a restaurant that is Scientology owned. It's right by the Celebrity Center, I think. And that's where Danny Masterson drugged them, or at least drugged one of the Jane Does, and then he lived right down the street.
Yeah, I can't speak on any of that stuff, like
Yeah.
as I didn't see it or that was not my
Yeah.
experiences with these people, so I
Mhm.
can't really
And
speak
of
on
course,
it.
like with abusers, they're not going to be the same with everybody.
Correct.
They know how to put on acts. I was in a really abusive relationship once, and it was like he was two different people. Everybody thought that he was charming and nice, and then as soon as we got home, totally different face.
I mean, we all have that. Like, let's be honest, we all have like different people in us. It's just
Yeah,
who we choose to let out more often and whatnot. Like, I have a bad
yeah.
person, an angry person, an aggressive person. I have hit people in my life, and I'm not proud of it. I have, on occasion, done some horrible things. It wasn't to those levels, to my knowledge, that we're talking about, like with grape or this or that. But like, I have done things that I'm not proud of, and looking back, I don't
I
want
feel
to be
like we
that
all
person.
have, though. I feel like we
Yeah,
all have. I'm sure there's many times in my life I'm just like, man, if I had that to do over again, I wouldn't have been an asshole, or I would have done something differently. Like, we all have those moments.
yeah, but it's within all of us, and sometimes it still comes out. Even while you're getting older, it still comes out. But for
Yeah.
some people, it comes out more often because their life is getting depressive or sad, or their hatred, or they're just becoming more of a negative person. And I go through that weekly, daily. One
Yeah.
day I'm happy as AF, and the next day I'm sad AF. But I choose to try to always, okay, it'll pass. Don't ever go down the
Yeah.
complete negative rabbit
Yeah.
hole.
No, there's definitely things that you can do to like get you out of that mindset. I mean, obviously, thinking positive does not cure depression, especially if you're clinically depressed, like me. But there is something to be said for, doing nice things for yourself, saying nice things to yourself, affirmations for freak's sake. I know that sounds lame, but like sometimes you just really have to like just switch your brain and think of the positive thing out of that situation currently, even if it's a bad situation. Think of what is positive out of it. That's I try to do that, but sometimes it fails. But I wanted to like answer a few questions real
Now, I
fast.
don't know how to look at your questions or whatever, put them on screen, or I don't know which ones they are. So forgive me if I don't put it on
That's
screen.
fine. Yeah, and because I'm not on your StreamYard, like I'm not a part of your StreamYard, I can't star them. But what was it? Someone said something about the Dianetics book, but yeah, like
Diet, yeah, that's what
yeah,
started it all. Ron L. Hubbard or whatever.
yeah, we call him
Hell.
L. Con Hubbard or
Yeah,
L. Wrong Hubbard.
I want to
But
watch the
he was
documentary about Leia.
he was a lame science fiction writer. And then he wrote Dianetics. And the reason why he ended up doing like sailing for a while with the first group that he got together, it was because he was under investigation for things like fraud and shit. And when you're in international waters, it's harder to prosecute you or find you.
Can I sing a song that'll put us all at calm right now?
Okay.
Sailing, take me away from where I know I've been there before. Christopher Cross, I believe, is his name. And that is such a beautiful song to hear, no matter where you are in life. Sailing takes me. Have you ever heard it?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, good. I wanted to make sure I wasn't doing that for people that didn't even understand that reference. Okay, go to the questions.
So the reason why cults get away with what they can and religious people get away with what they can is because there's religious protections under the law. And actually, every time that Scientology has been under investigation or had CPS called, they get tipped off somehow. Mm-hmm. And then they can quickly switch things around to make it look better than it is. But when you can't pay, you're literally a prisoner. You become a prisoner. If you ever look at the blue building, that is literally a locked hotel.
True.
So there's a big blue building where people live that literally freely can't leave.
They got the apartment basically and stuff there in the Celebrity Center as well. And I remember that. And now they're building like in the North Hollywood Scientology Center. They're building like they bought an apartment building or whatever next to it with like I think maybe 50 or 60 apartments. You're right about that. That's insane.
Yeah, so I've been watching the protests happen since like November because everybody's live streaming, or at least most of the protesters are live streaming. So you can see also how not only how they operate, but how they operate alongside LAPD.
I'm sure everybody owns everybody, and
it's been insane. They protect Scientology so hard. It's insane to see. It's like cops in general, like the system is corrupt. I mean, here in Seattle, it's bad. Any major city, like Baltimore had a show. The Wire was made because of their corruption. Yeah, it was a great show. So
crisscross makes you want to jump.
There can be corruption everywhere because it depends on who is donating the biggest. That's who they're going to protect. Whoever's donating the biggest.
Can you do it? The 90s song from Crisscross? Crisscross and make you jump. Daddy Mac. Mac. Mac, Daddy make you jump. You remember that song? There you go.
Yes. Yes.
I would love to see all the Scientologists. I would like to see all the Scientologists like in Tiananmen Square, like all stand together and dance. Crisscross will make you jump. So all the Scientologists jump. And they wear the backwards pants. That'd be hilarious, y'all.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about the backwards pants. That was so silly. Oh, my God.
I wanted a pair of those. I mean, I could probably just put my pants on backwards, but you know what?
Yeah, there's a question from Colin Madden I wanted to say, because I think I touched on this and I wasn't sure if they when they made the question, what do you get out of Scientology? Is there a compound you can live in for free? So yes, again, if you can't pay, they say, yeah, you can live here for free. Technically, I mean, I guess, but you have to work. It's all labor. If you go to the blue building late at night, you can see how locked in everybody is. There's like prison-like gates everywhere that a van with blacked out windows comes and goes with the Scientologists. It's so eerie to watch.
Hey,
And
little
that's
Scientologist, I
yeah,
got
and
some candy in my van.
that's with like pretty much any cult though. Like they're all fairly similar in practice. And like the Jehovah's Witnesses, they got a lot of their policies from Scientology as well. Another thing that I'm really interested in is blowing, I mean, the whistle's already been blown, but helping out with the movement on troubled teen industry, because that's another whole cult of grossness and government officials getting paid, people getting paid to send to recruit kids to be there. It's very unfortunate that human beings can be like this, especially with children.
Yeah, maybe I should take off the pop culture thoughts while you're talking about a sensitive subject.
Yeah. Let me make sure that there is
pop culture thoughts.
Any other
Kids are abused.
Mormons are a cult. They try to recruit. Oh, yeah, Mormons. I mean, yeah. If you look at how any of these places operate, look at their policies, they're all fairly similar. They're all, even if they're not a full-on cult, they're culty. You can find cult elements in them.
Religion.
And that's why, and that's why I say all cults stem from religion, but not all religion are cults.
Oh, there you go.
That's what I say. And
I think everything's a cult. Do you want to be in the Michael Ray Bauer cult? Let's make a Mandy and Michael Bauer.
I don't want to be in anybody's cult. No cults. This is a cult-free zone.
Together. Let's create a cult together. What do we call it? I'll call it diabetics. Instead of Dianetics, I'll call it diabetics because I'm typically diabetic too, or diabetes too.
Let me make sure there's no other questions before we move on. I don't think so. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I just would like to see Scientology go down. Like, I just want David Miscavige to be behind bars. I don't know if it will ever happen, but one can hope, right?
I'm on board. If you were protesting in LA, I'd get on a bus, go out there and get to see some sunshine, and I'd help you. But I'd be so afraid that they would have facial recognition, and they'd be like, "That's that MFer that pulled his shotgun on us in like 2003 or whatever it was." That's that MFer.
And I know that they can be pretty scary, and the things that have been done to the protesters, especially in LA, has been pretty scary. Scientology has routinely like popped all their tires. They know their license plates. They know what cars all these protesters drive. And plus they're all live streaming. So, and there's cameras everywhere on that street, like around the whole building. Right, yeah.
We're in the
probably. Hi, Osa. Hi, Osa.
The minute we said Scientology, the algorithm was, oh shit. Let me called up Sienkiewicz, Derek McFadden, whatever his name is.
Yes,
Watching it right now on Instagram going, Michael, what are you doing? I'm trying to cook food. I'm trying to cook food and do a live stream, Laura. I'm sorry, Laura. I'm sorry.
Yes, Tom Cruise is huge into Scientology. He's basically David Miscavige's like butt boy.
It's my job to save everybody, says Tom Cruise. It's my job.
I wish Anonymous would come back out, but I think they're not really huge on protesting. I feel like they do a lot more behind the scenes work these days. But I remember when they protested Scientology, they protested here in 2015.
That was the first thing for Anonymous. I technically called myself a member. I don't know if I really was, but I got into that world like nothing. And that was their first big event, was when they went online on YouTube, created videos. They said, let's go after Scientology. And that's when it all started with Anonymous.
So we got a super chat and it says, do we know about Jay-Z Knight and the Ramtha School of Enlightenment cult in the Northwest, whose leader channels an alien warrior? No, I have not heard of that. And I'm going to type it in really quick, just so I don't forget.
Okay.
Because I have not heard of that before. Ramtha School.
Great guess. Yeah, I found it. Great guess, Mandy. Do you know about Jay-Z Knight and the Ramtha School of Enlightenment, cult in the Northeast, whose leader channels an alien warrior? Sounds like, Unsolved Mysteries episode. Let's go.
Well, there it is. It's in Yelm, Washington. So it's in the middle of Washington State. Interesting. I will have to look at this. Thank you for telling me, because I'm always trying to keep up to date to cults, but there's like 10,000 of them in the United States. So you can't keep up with all of them.
You know, I have one big cult that I started in the 90s, and I wish you would be a part of it. It's the cult of personality. The cult of personality. Five vision.
Waco totally was a cult. I don't know what you're talking about. Waco was a cult. The government did mess up. I watched that new documentary with all the extra information and footage that nobody's ever seen, and it really shows how the ATF fucked up and got a lot of people killed through that.
Yeah, there's a lot of military or government or police misconduct for, you know, what, sovereign citizens, people that create their own stuff. That's crazy. Let's talk about some pop culture stuff.
Okay.
You're watching any movies? You hooked on any TV shows or any storylines that have piqued your interest?
Mostly I just watch anime. I'm into a lot of anime.
I learned what a huigo was finally, maybe about a month ago. A huigo. I never knew what that was. I started watching webcam girls, and they had something in their thing that said, you know, I'm an huigo expert. I was like, what the hell is a huigo? I was like, I know all the other terms, you know, the sexual terms, but what's a huigo? Then I watched her thing, and then she kept doing.
Oh yeah, it's the Wago face. Yeah,
yeah. Like, I had to look it up.
Hold on, I have something for you.
The Huigo face would be perfect. Oh, I love your shirt. I love your shirt. Oh, there you go. It is. Yeah.
I have pajamas with that face.
That's insane.
Because I saw those and I was like, this is the most ridiculous purchase ever. I'm doing it.
Yeah, that face, I didn't know what it was. Like I said, I had to look it up, and it was a part of Japanese animation culture or whatever.
Yeah, it's like in the hentai sphere of
but stuff. How did it become Americanized? Like, people would say, oh, it's because of anime. But my recollection of that face was Miley Cyrus on the MTV Music Awards. Like,
I remember that.
At the end of her performance, she does.
Yeah, no, I remember that.
And then after I saw her do that, before I knew what it was, I would see all the people or the girls do it online and this and that. And then, like I said, I found out it was a sexual thing.
Yeah, because of cosplay, and becoming more and more popular, it's just gotten, anime and Japanese stuff has gotten more popular in the United States. For the first time, we're seeing more of a Asian music resurgence here in the United States that we've never really had. I listen to a lot of Asian music, J-pop, underground Japanese music. That's weird because I like anything that's theatrical and weird.
I don't know any of that, man.
I listen to K-pop.
Well, I listen to my K-pop nightly. Like, I get a noise back here, and it's like, my K-pop.
But other than anime, what I am watching is also the Fallout show.
Oh, have you finished it?
Not yet. I think I'm on the 5th episode. I need to finish that, and I've been watching the new X-Men.
Are you enjoying Fallout and the character development? Are you all in?
Yeah, I like it so far. I think I keep forgetting the actor's name, but he's a very interesting looking dude, and he plays a character that basically is like an undead character, and he is nailing it. Oh, he's so good.
Oh, yeah. I forgot. I can't think of his name right now, but I auditioned with him for a movie called No, was it Manic? No, it was a movie with Billy Bob Thornton. I did an audition with him with, rest in peace, Mally Finn, the lady who casting directed The Matrix and some of my other favorite movies. But I met that actor in the audition with Billy Bob. We were all in a room and we did the scene together. It was a Billy Bob movie that he was in, and I just remember that. But yeah, he's a good
Walton Goggins. Yep, that's his name.
Walton Goggins. There you go.
Yeah, he is fantastic. I've always loved his character work. He's really good.
Yeah, look him up. He did a movie with Billy Bob Thornton. I didn't get the part, but it was like they wanted me to be like a country bumpkin, and he did a movie with Billy Bob Thornton, probably in the 2000s. That was my experience with him.
That
It was
sounds familiar.
it was cool to meet Walton Goggins. And then I also did, I don't know why I'm coming up with these stories, but that lady Mally Finn, I love her. I felt like a real actor when I finally got auditions with her, because she did some of the biggest movies. And once you get an audition with Mally Finn, that means she believes in you and she's going to work with you to get you the job. And
Oh,
then
cool.
I had an audition with Schumacher, Joel Schumacher. Um,
Whoa.
it was a movie called
Nice.
Tigerland, and I
Nice.
went pretty far for it. And it starred well, he wasn't Colin Farrell at
Yeah,
the time.
Justified. I forgot about that show. Sorry. Justified was a good show.
Yeah, it's all good. I just love these audition stories where I auditioned for that movie Tigerland, and the kid from Sandlot got the part.
Which one?
Um,
The one
the
that's in
the
Scientology?
main blonde kid, the main blonde kid
Oh, okay.
from
Yeah, because
Sandlot got the part in that
the
movie.
dude that played Ham or whatever, he was
Oh
like
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
catcher. He's in Scientology.
yeah. He was in Salute Your Shorts.
For how long?
He's in one episode. I don't know
Oh,
the
okay.
exact episode. It might be the first season. Um, but yeah, he's in Salute Your Shorts, one of the first episodes. It might have been the pilot, the first pilot, the original pilot. I don't know. It's one of the episodes. It's hard to
Oh,
find
I
now.
haven't even seen that show in so long. I only remember Penske. But
Yeah,
that's
we all
because I
love Blake.
actually I'm friends with Blake.
We all love Blake. Yeah, I haven't really spoken to him much recently. He doesn't really say much online, but he's all around. He's
Yeah,
awesome. He was
he
dating Winona Ryder one time. That was so cool. He
yeah,
went to
that was like in the beginning of his like career pretty much was when he dated her. Um I met
Hollywood
him when
Theater.
he was doing Rilo Kiley because I'm also a musician.
Jenny, I
So
love Jenny. She just had a concert recently. Jenny.
so cool. Yeah, so I like met him doing photos for his bands. Like he was in another band after Rilo Kiley, and then he also has his own band called The Elected. But he full on quit music. Like he lives in Tennessee now. He left LA like 2018, I think. And I haven't really talked to him since he really left. And
Yeah, he's done a couple of podcasts with. He did one with Ethan Chapley for what was it, Boy Meets World recently.
oh, that's
Those
cool.
for Danielle and
Oh yeah, because
Ryder.
didn't Blake play something on Boy
Yeah,
Meets World? Yeah.
I was up for that role that Ethan got to play his partner. Remember, it was a fat guy, and then Blake. It was Ethan Chapley and Blake.
Oh, right. Yeah, I remember.
I was up for that part, and the rumors is that I didn't get it was because they wanted Blake officially, but they didn't want Salute Your Shorts cast members to be on that show together. So they went
Oh,
with another bigger guy because they didn't want to have the reference from the Nickelodeon show on Boy
oh,
Meets World.
weird. Okay.
Plus, Ethan was probably a better actor. He's awesome. I love him. But yeah, that was a little story that I had. Any other movies that you've been catching that you just watched
Um,
recently?
let's see. I actually haven't been watching many movies lately. It's just mostly like focusing on my
Ghostbusters came out.
advocacy.
Ghostbusters
Oh
came out
yeah,
on
but I
VOD the
haven't
other day.
watched any of the new iterations of Ghostbusters. I only watched the old ones.
Oh, well, get into it. It has ghosts,
I know.
and they're busting them.
Plus, I think like the scenes that I've seen from the newer one, not the one I don't even know who's in all of them. Hasn't there only been 2 new ones? It was the first one where they
Well, yeah,
swapped
it's
genders.
Aftermath, or I think it's Ghostbusters Aftermath, and then Frozen Empire.
Okay, because whatever one Chris Hemsworth was in as like a meat boy. Like
Oh,
just
that was the
looking-
girl version.
Yes, the girl version. I wanted to
Yeah.
see that. I haven't seen that.
It's enjoyable, but it's unnecessary in my opinion. Again, we don't have to get into it, but I hate when they do that. Like they do it just to do it. Write another story where it's a whole female Ghostbusters company. You get it? The Ghostbusters
Yeah.
are so popular that these amazing women created their own firehouse, and they are now in the Ghostbuster universe as a woman group. But when they specifically take out, the classics in our mind and what is not race swap, when they gender swap,
Hmm.
It's just, in my opinion, there's a writer out there that could have wrote a really good story where they would have factions of Ghostbusters worldwide, and there would be a woman group, Ghostbuster group that do
Kind of like the
amazing things.
Avengers.
Yeah, where they would have factions,
Yeah.
because the Ghostbusters is a company. There's technically, they could have written a story where,
Yeah.
like in conventions, they have Ghostbuster Tennessee come to a convention, Ghostbuster LA, Ghostbuster.
Yeah, Cheetah Man. It can be done right. Like, not all remakes are good. Like, I thought it was interesting the way they redid Psycho, where they tried to do match shot for shot, but it still fell flat for me. I was like, it's in color. Yeah, it's cool that you're doing shot for shot, but it didn't really. It was just like, okay, you did that thing.
Yeah.
It didn't offer anything new, really.
Correct. That's what it is. It didn't offer anything new. It's not that I had a problem with women being Ghostbusters. I do not. I loved each and every one of them. It's just, it didn't add anything. And
yeah, like
it could have been better.
I would like to see, even though one of the original Ghostbusters is no longer on this earth, it would be cool to have like those old characters interact with the new world, right?
Yep,
I would like that. I mean, I'm not into Ghostbusters, but I'm going to watch it now that we've talked about it.
Come on, you're a fangirl of everything. We're gonna get you in. What about this movie? What about this movie?
Oh, I love Goonies. Yeah, you kidding me? I grew up on that shit.
What French character are you? I'm sorry. What Goonies character are you?
I like the little black boy. I forgot his name.
Are you making a joke? Because I don't think there's any black kids in it.
Really? I thought there was like a little, or am I thinking of a different movie? Oh no, is my brain going? Oh no, the little Asian kid. The little Asian kid. Sorry, I mixed that up. I totally mixed that up.
You just made a political statement saying the little black boy, and I thought it was sarcastic because there was no black kid in it.
No, it was him who I can't remember his name, but he still acts this way.
Kihoy, yeah, Kihoy.
Yeah.
Kihoy Kwan. He won an Academy Award for Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Which I still need to see that. Oh, I haven't seen it.
Insane.
Oh, I do know what movie I saw recently, and I absolutely loved it. There was like some things that I always critique movies. Nothing is ever totally perfect to me. But it was Poor Things, because I like that director, and I was extraordinarily surprised that anything that director did got an Oscar nomination, let alone a win, because he comes from a very strange, disturbing horror sect, and Poor Things is definitely in his wheelhouse, but it's not a horror, I don't think. It's more of a fantasy. Did you see it?
Not completely. I'll be honest with you. It was around the time of the Nickelodeon documentary, and I started to watch it, and then I started having thoughts of like abuse and sexually and stuff like that, because the way she was trying to, like, I don't know if it even happened, but it just felt sexual between like an adult creating a human or a person or a thing. Mm-hmm. And it felt a little disturbing. So I just kind of...
It is disturbing.
I didn't continue it. I didn't feel like I wanted to.
Yeah. See, I am the type of person that likes disturbing things, likes things to push boundaries. I like to get out of my comfort zone, see how something makes me feel. I've always been into horror genre in general. And the director who did Poor Things did one of my favorite horror movies called Dogtooth. And that was really disturbing. Like, there's incest in it and everything. Like, but I thought with Poor Things...
Sorry, I had to do this joke. That's the name of my penis.
Short round. Oh my god. Yeah.
That's how it looks. It's short and round. Sorry.
Oh my god. Oh, I did not need to hear that. Virgin ears. No, I'm just kidding.
Come on. I'm 49 years of age now, man. I can't be afraid of anything anymore, but albeit I am. Frankenhooker. That was a weird movie. I remember that one.
The thing that I liked about Poor Things is some people critiqued it, some women critiqued it in a very bad way, I thought. I mean, everybody's entitled to their opinion, but they thought that it was super disturbing that a man would, create something like this, and it's just all about being sexualized
Yeah,
and
like it was
pedophilia.
his toy, his doll,
Yeah.
and it's intense.
But here's the thing. If you take it at face value, yes, that is what it's about. But it's more than that. It's about this newly created being finding herself in the world, figuring out the world, and part of being human is sex. And so watching her like try to figure out sexual stuff can be like weird looking, but I don't know. I found it to be like really beautiful. But I also like, I don't know, I like weird things, and I can really read into something and maybe take it a different way than anybody else can take it. I enjoyed the premise. It came from a book. So he did adapt it from a book. He didn't write it. He just directed it and adapted it from a book. But the whole point of Bella Baxter is sexuality. It's human sexuality. It's figuring out your body and how you use it and belong in the world. That's what I got out of it, and I thought it was brilliant.
Hey,
I
guess
thought
what? I'm glad you enjoyed it, but I don't think I'm gonna go back to it. I
that's
just didn't
fine.
feel it.
Yeah,
I
that's
love her
fine.
though. I love Emma
Like,
Emma Stone. I love
yeah,
her.
she did really good, and I thought everybody acted beautifully in it. The characters were great. Willem Dafoe always is great, and I loved the costumes, the set. Like, it just was beautiful
Yes,
for me.
artwork considered, it's a beautiful looking project. I mean, and everything is art nowadays. Um, what did Charlie say? I wanted to talk about this. He said, "I like the girl Ghostbusters. I enjoy the multiverse. They all have their party." I'm actually tired of multiverse movies. It's just a cheap way for them not to write original scripts, and
Yeah, like
like that's
I'm
just
kind
my
of
opinion.
overall the Marvel stuff at this point.
Yeah.
Like, I liked it, I grew up with comic books. I was a nerd. I am a nerd, and it's cool to see that what I got bullied for became pop culture. But I am over it. There's too much of it is the thing. It's the same thing with Star Wars. I absolutely love Star Wars growing up. It's still one of my favorite franchises, but I just think there's too much of it. And because there's too much of it and they're doing everything so quickly, the scripts are lacking.
It's no time for character development, no time for story. And I'm just going to say this: Disney has ruined everything recently.
Disney is, oh my God. Do you want to know the one thing that I really pisses me off about Disney? And it's not about predators. So, you know that Willow made it, like, the movie became a TV series. Did you ever watch Willow when you were
I
growing
have
up?
not watched the remake, and I heard it was canceled after the first season, though.
Yeah, they pulled it. They pulled it completely without even
Hmm.
telling anybody. So the entire cast is really pissed off that it's not even up on Disney Plus anymore. And I only got to see one episode. So that really makes me upset, because like that was one of my favorite movies growing up. Absolutely favorite, because I love Warwick Davis.
I'll
I
send you the
love that man.
episodes. I'll send you any episodes you want of anything. I know how to do the torrents and all that other stuff. Trust me, I'll hook you up.
um, oh yeah, no, Adam Jones, you're correct. I think that Deadpool Wolverine movie is going to be good, because I actually like the writing on Deadpool versus
Yeah,
a
that
lot of the
has
other
a
stuff.
multiverse. Yeah, that one has a multiverse aspect as well. The the Deadpool Wolverine. I think I'll enjoy that Marvel movie because the stakes are
Yeah,
high in that one.
yeah, yeah. So I have a question for you. Like, if you could have,
Yes, I'll marry everybody.
if you could have gotten any part, like what was your one thing that you really wanted to play that you never got to
Oh, it's
play?
Remember the Titans. Oh, without a doubt. I went really, really far for Remember the Titans. And the other
Oh,
actor that I worked with, Ethan Suplee, he got the job. He did a great job, but I wanted Remember the Titans. I love football. That was my movie, but I just didn't get it. The director even told me in the final interview, we had like 5 or 6 interviews, and it was me and Ethan right there at the end. And then the director pulled me into a room and he's like, "Mike, I'm going to go with Ethan." And he saw that I was disheartened, and he goes, "Ethan is Hollywood fat." And I was like, "What the hell is that? I've never heard that term."
Are
And he
you
goes,
trying to
well, Ethan,
turn up my stream?
oh, he's so cute.
Are you
Uh,
trying to turn up my stream? No, she likes to run. She loves running across my keyboard, and she did stop my stream one time, and I was like, no.
uh-oh. But long story short, yeah, so he told me that Ethan is Hollywood fat and they're going to go with him. And I was like, what does that mean? He goes, Ethan is like 6'2 or 3, and he's
There's a
500
Hollywood
pounds.
Fat? What? Oh
And
my
it means
god.
you look good on screen. And he said Ethan is like 6'2". He's like 500 pounds. He's gonna look like a really good football player on screen. Mike, you're like 5'7", probably 300 pounds, 290 or whatever it was. And he's like, and I love the character you brought to it. He goes, but you don't look like you could officially play football. He goes, you don't look like you could play it. And he goes,
Weird.
but I love you as an actor. And he goes, I love the character you brought, but we're going to go with him. And then I started pleading with the production company and him. I go, get me on Remember the Titans. Let me be one of the background football players with a couple of lines,
Yeah.
just with a couple of, because I want to be in this movie. I want it so bad. And they're like, well, we're filming it in, I think it was West Virginia, and we're hiring locals. And you are a big enough actor that we'd have to get you an apartment. We'd have to pay per diem. We'd have to do it under a SHAG contract. And we can't do that to get you on the football team unless you want to take another role where you're like another football player for 1 day or 2 days on the movie. And I was like, no, I want to be on the Titans. Like, that's the point. I want to be on the Titans.
Yeah.
So they couldn't make it work. And I told them, I said, I'll pay for my apartment. I'll pay for the hotel. I'll pay for my travel. You guys can give me a local contract. And they're like, but your safety. We have to do a training camp. We're going to do some, with drills. We're not going to have security for you if you get injured. And I was like, I wanted the movie so bad. But long story short, the casting director later hired me in Evolution, and the story continues. But that was the movie. That was the movie that I wanted. I've always dreamed about. That was my biggest regret.
I almost never got cast in the things that I auditioned for. I even auditioned for all that.
Oh, you're an actress? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I did theater pretty much my whole life, even into my first couple years of college when I was in my early 20s. And I've done work on films, TV, mostly as like either script supervisor or on-set photographer. And occasionally I've been an extra, but I like being behind the camera. I like doing the technical things.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I've never done anything like super big. I guess like in terms of my career in photography, the two biggest things I ever did was Work Tour and a project on MTV that unfortunately got canned and never saw the light of day, but at least I worked on it.
Well, what was that called that was canned? Because sometimes I know these random projects. I really do. I look at the history of auditions and stuff sometimes.
Yeah, when I was going to the Art Institute, that's when I started doing film stuff, because one of the film teachers, my mentor, Lynn Shelton, she was trying to get other photographers on this MTV series. So basically, do you remember on YouTube, like in 2009, 2010, they were web series where it was like a heavy thing?
I made one myself. I produced one myself
Awesome.
On this channel. It's called Focus. Go check it out. It's on this channel.
So the thing was called $5 Cover / Seattle. So MTV was going to start a web series based around local music scenes. The first thing that they did was Memphis, Tennessee. So that one aired. And then Seattle was supposed to be the next one. And then they ended up canceling the whole idea. So I got to see it as a premiere, but it doesn't exist on the internet anymore.
I love how they got TV shows like Chicago Fire, Chicago PD, Chicago Police, or LA Fire, LA Police, LAPD, and then Jersey Housewives from Jersey, Jersey Housewives from California, Jersey Housewives from
Yep.
Atlanta. Well, when are they going to start doing local towns? Like, I want to have Jersey
Yeah.
Housewives in North Hollywood, or Jersey Housewives in Burbank, or Seattle.
Funny.
Such a there's no creativeness to anybody, and there's hungry writers, producers, directors,
Hmm.
and people that can really come up with new ideas, and they are not being seen. It is
No,
really sad. It is
it
really
is.
sad.
Yeah, and I think that their idea was brilliant. So basically, how it worked was Lynn got a bunch of our local bands who I was all friends with already, and you make a loosely scripted thing. So everybody's playing themselves, but a different part. Like they're still playing a character, and a lot of it was improv. And then you had like you saw the band. The bands played like it was going from venue to venue. Like it was amazing. I loved that idea, and it's so sad that it got canned.
I wanted to do I'm always trying to resurrect my career, and I don't know if I'll ever have it again. But I always had the thought when reality TV was getting real popular. I started thinking maybe I can make my own reality show. What would I call it? What would the concept be? And I came up with an idea called Growing Up. People got me confused that Donkey Lips is actually popular or whatever, but he's really not. But I had the idea of calling it Growing Up Donkey. And then what I would do in this show is I would live on people's couches that are fans of my Nickelodeon show for a couple of days, and I would travel the world. And
Amazing.
and
But I would be
I don't know
worried
where.
about people. I don't
Well,
know
I
if I
mean,
could trust people.
I'd have a couple of girlfriends. I might have some adventures. Some girls might like me or want me. That'll be pretty cool.
Someone said that you should do a cooking show.
Well, I mean, they all want the return of my cooking videos that I did right after the pandemic when I moved into this apartment. I was
Oh,
able to do cooking shows, and they're really cringy and ridiculous. And all I have is a hot plate at the time, and I don't have a kitchen in this
that's kind of
apartment.
funny. Yeah.
But they want the return of it, and I have been thinking about doing it, but I don't have editing software anymore. My computers are broken, so I don't. The technology wise, guys, I just might have to live stream it and act stupid while I cook. Like I don't know. I really don't know.
So someone said that we're almost at the 3 hour mark. Proud of Michael. Maybe he is getting healthy. This sort of thing was difficult for him not too long ago.
Oh, it's still difficult for me now. Trust me. Trust
Yeah.
me. Yeah, no.
I haven't even talked this long in a while. We're just like on a roll.
Yeah, no. Whenever I get online or I have to do something, like my energy, my body, it starts to break down. Um,
Oh, someone said I want to see you watch. I want to see you hunt ghosts or Bigfoot.
yeah, that's unbelievers. I want to see you hunt ghosts or Bigfoots.
There's
Huh?
too
Maybe I can.
many. There's too many people that already hunt ghosts on YouTube, though.
How about me and Dan Schneider go hunting Bigfoots? How, you get it? That
Oh,
would be a cool story.
yes, I get it.
Hey, Dan, you keep looking at Littlefoots on your shows. How about let's search some Bigfoots?
Oh, someone says that we click well together. Well, that's nice. I think we're clicking too. This is amazing.
Yeah, this person wants me to get in trouble, but I don't have any. I'm a he. Again, I
Yeah, that
believe
is
in
your
that
pronoun.
simple stuff.
Yes. Everybody has pronouns, literally. He, him, she, her, they, them. Those are pronouns.
You both. Yeah, Brent's an awesome fan.
Awesome. Well, I think maybe we should call it. But I had one more question for you.
Yeah.
Out of everybody you've worked with, what has been the best experience, and who was it with?
The best experience that anybody I've worked with was like on May 9th, 2024, around 5 p.m. with this girl named Mandy. And no, we're having a good time. But in all seriousness, I appreciate everything we did today. But My best experience. Okay, sorry. Say the question again. I kind of lost it.
Yeah. What was your best experience on film, and who was it with? Like, did you have a favorite actor or favorite person to work with?
Again, I kind of led my life, and I have traumatic events with most of the people for some
Oh.
reason. Like my life, I'm such a weird or unique or different person that people don't actually fully understand me. So for the most part, a lot of my experiences with these actors or people like that are already higher up, we don't see eye to eye because I feel like I'm a man of the people, and I grew
Hmm.
up poor, and I grew up hanging out with gangsters and doing some other things, and they don't have the same experiences. It's like the world today. You got the politicians saying, "Oh, I don't believe poor black people know what a computer is." You're like, "Huh? I really? You're gonna do that?" But to think about it, God, I haven't thought of it because I've had so many negative experiences, and I hate living in that world. Um,
Yeah, that's what, again, when I said earlier on in our conversation, you, even when an experience is bad, I try and look at for that one positive moment in it. And I think that's what we need when we're definitely have depression or anxiety or stress. We really need to focus on something positive.
yeah, I just don't feel like I fit. I
Oh,
mean, with Hollywood, I mean,
yeah.
I've had good experiences with people, but like for the most part, I never wanted to fit into that world completely.
So
And I
what do
just
you
don't.
want to do instead?
No, I mean, I always want to do it because that is a passion, comedy,
Yeah.
entertaining. But I just feel like I don't fit. You get it? Like, because
Oh,
when I
okay.
go
Yeah.
when I go home, I'm going home to a studio apartment with no kitchen. Even though I'm on a primetime TV show, people think I'm rich or whatever. I ain't got.
Yeah.
I'm like more simple. And these people, oh, let's go to the club, let's do this, let's do that, or
Hmm.
it's not my world, man. My world is video games, masturbation, and food. I don't,
That's all you need in life, right? That's all you need.
you said it best. But I do want to answer the question. I mean, I've had great experiences as well. My favorite job that I ever worked on was Dark Angel on that TV series with
Oh, with
Jessica
Jessica
Alba.
Alba. Okay, I
Yes.
didn't really watch that series all the way through. I saw like bits and pieces here and there.
Yeah, I ended up doing one episode in season two, but it was a big episode that they were going to possibly make into a character on the show for the third season. So I had multiple auditions, and I tore it up. I took it serious. I was proud of myself. And then I got hired. I went to Canada or Vancouver, British Columbia for the first time, and I had to stay there for 3 months. And
Wow.
we did screen test, and then I met the crew and the cast and the director, and they were working on the script, and it was like I felt like the star. And it was a big deal to them because they knew that they wanted this character to possibly be in the third season, you
Mm.
know, and they
Hmm.
but they wanted a more fleshed out character because everybody on that show was like good looking and beautiful, like CW people, the
Oh, yeah,
CW
the
shows,
CW pretty, yeah.
all the teen heartthrobs. So they needed comedic relief, a hearted person. So they wrote this episode called Brainiac. And long story short, I got the part. I was up there. I filmed it. I befriended Jessica. I advocated for her. There are some situations going on. She befriended me. We became good friends. And I stuck up for her and I fought for her. And then I
Oh,
had,
that's nice.
long story short, I felt like with most acting jobs that I technically get, you're you're only on set for 1 day or 2 days. You got two or three lines. You go to the
Hmm.
set at 9 o'clock in the morning. Then all of a sudden you're rushed onto the stage, and then you rehearse it a couple of times, and you barely meet the actors. Hey, nice to meet you. And then you do your job, and then you go home and you're done. But with this project, I was included in the writer meetings, in the director meetings. They wanted to flesh out the show, the character, the storyline, and it just felt like I was literally a part of that whole project, as opposed to being a character actor that just
Mm-hmm.
does a cameo and comes in. And I ended up becoming or getting a contract for the third season, and it didn't pan out because Fox didn't pick it up for the third season. But they gave
Oh.
me a contract, and it was like $30,000 an episode for 21 episodes guaranteed.
Oh,
I'm like, that's life
wow.
changing money.
Yep.
But they all loved me, and I met James Cameron during the audition process. He advocated for me, and it was just a wonderful experience. It was, as an actor, it's like you felt like you're an actor,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I would have to say that. Um,
Nice. Well, that seems like a good experience, and it's nice that you stuck up for her.
Yeah, well, she was getting married and she was doing a photo shoot. Like when we were filming the episode, she had a lot of press and stuff to do for other
Mm-hmm.
things, and they put her in like a wardrobe fitting and for like a bikini or something. She was doing a photo shoot, maybe for a magazine, like on the outside of the set. And then they wanted to take pictures of her in the bikini on the set of like the Dark Angel. So now the crew is setting up for the shot that we're about to do together.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was like gawking and the look at, did you see her? Like I witnessed all that stuff. And then finally we started our scene after she got out of her wardrobe and everything. We started our scene, and then I witnessed the crew and stuff starting to talk while we were rehearsing. And it was the same crew members that were gawking and saying some sexual jokes at her, like, would you bang her? I heard those things. And now they were talking during my rehearsal of my scene that I'm about to shine in.
Mm.
And they were talking during rehearsals. And then I finally had it. I said, could you all shut up? I go, all you crew members over there, you've been talking all day. I go, you want to disrespect Jessica when she's walking around in a skimpy outfit? I go, you know what? Now you want to disrespect me while I'm trying to rehearse? I go, this is my one opportunity. And I go, this woman puts in hard work every single day for you to gawk at her like a sex symbol. I go, you guys need to have some class, and I would kick you out of the set right now. You have no respect for anybody. We're doing a job.
You did
And
a
then
good job.
the director and the crew and Jessica's looking at me like this. And then all of a sudden they told the crew members, okay, we're gonna have a closed set. We're gonna have a closed set. So then they basically removed the non-essential people. And they go, okay, Michael, let's do this emotional scene with you and her. And then Jessica was like, were they saying stuff like that? I go, yeah, Jessica. I go, I kind of like listened to everything. And, they were talking about like, how sexy you looked and they wanted to do this and do that. And I'm like, you're basically probably like 18 years of age at the time. And it's just disrespect.
A lot of actresses had to go through shit like that. It's a very unfortunate side effect of some things. Humanity. Thinking that they can just disrespect whoever they want, or say whatever they want about somebody without.
Yeah. And she was married. She just got married to one of the guys on that show, Michael Weatherly. And he was there on set because it was a big emotional scene we were about to do. So once I yelled at everybody and they removed him, he stayed there. Then we did the scene. Jessica asked me that. And then at the end, the scene came out great. And then Jessica and then even her husband goes, man, Mike, like I never thought this character was that good until I saw the scene. And he goes, and then you stuck up for my wife. He's like, Mike, I love you, dude. We're going to be friends for life. And then right after that was like on day 2 of filming, like day 2. And I had to do like 9 more days or whatever of actual filming for that episode. And then Jessica, after that, when we had another scene, maybe later in the day, she's like, oh, Mike, you want to come into my trailer so we can rehearse? And again, it's her way of saying, I respect you. I appreciate you. My husband likes you. Now you can officially get to know me and I'll let you in. Even though I've met her, a couple of times years prior with my other friend, Eldon Henson. She was in a movie with Green and my friend Eldon. And I went to the movie premiere and I met Jessica Alba on that movie.
That was that was Idle Hands.
Idle Hands. That's what
I love that movie.
Yeah, but it was kind of cool, so we're still friends to this day. And, I mean, we talk.
Nice.
Doesn't mean we talk every day. It doesn't mean any of that.
Doesn't she have like kids now too and stuff?
Yeah, I think she's married to another guy now. I think they got divorced with that guy, Michael.
And I think she left acting. I'm not sure. And she
She
also
pretty much has, but she'll take the occasional job and cameo that I know of. But I think they're doing uh, a new Fantastic Four with James Gunn. It might be the
why
next
are
film.
okay. I am well, I used to be friends with James Gunn until he got really popular. Because
Oh no,
unfortunately
I'm sorry. The cameo. Jessica Alba might have a cameo in the Wolverine Deadpool movie. That's what it was.
Oh, okay. Because I was about to say, are they remaking another Fantastic Four? Because
Yeah,
geez, how many more times do you need to remake that? Like they've all failed.
correct. But I think because they're doing the Wolverine movie, I heard that she was on the set and that they're the multiverse where that Fantastic Four group is going to be somehow in the Marvel Deadpool movie. That's I didn't hear that from her, but I heard that from other people.
Oh yeah, Michael G is correct. She has her Honest brand. She has like cleaning products, bath
Oh yeah, her
products.
company, Honest. Yeah, I get products all the time. I kid you. If I go to my bathroom, she hooks me up, man. She's like, Michael, you want to test out the new product? Can I send it to you? I'm like, yeah, it's good. I got some.
Okay,
I
and
got a lot of
also
Honest products in my bathroom.
someone says it's not just Hollywood, it's everywhere. At my job a few years ago, this elderly man was talking to a 17-year-old cashier in a dirty way. I said a few things. Ew. Yeah, why can't men or just anybody, because it's women too, why can't you just talk to someone your own age? Why do you have to go after minors? It's just so
Yeah, I don't think Jessica was officially a minor, so let's take that off the table. I think she was like 18 or 19 or whatever at the time. But
Mhm.
and I hate to throw out the stupid stereotype, it's men being men, but we do talk like that with beautiful girls, Like if somebody were to ask me about you later, I'd be like, yeah, she's beautiful. I'd love to hook up with her. She's pretty hot.
Oh my
Like,
god.
I mean, that's just honesty, being honesty. But again, when they actually say those actual type of words pretty much in front of that person, or like in their work environment, yeah, then it's not so
Yeah.
so
It
pure and
becomes sexual harassment at that point.
correct. My
Yeah.
goodness. With
Um
with all my jokes, I'm telling you, I'm gonna get me too somehow in the future, 20 years from now. Some girl's gonna be like, I talked to you on the internet and
uh
you told me you loved me and you wanted to be with me and you sent me naughty pictures. Oh great, I gotta have a press
are you
conference
doing
now.
that without consent?
Oh, I think we've all done it. I think we've all done it. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I
Yeah.
don't know what consent is nowadays. If she's sending me pictures, am I allowed to send them back? That's what I'm saying.
I would just ask. Just be like, hey, do you want something from me too?
Yeah, see, I can't imagine what the other women
But
do
a
where all
woman
of a sudden,
shouldn't be doing that either. Like, I know that you probably like it, but a person shouldn't just be sending another person nudes without like some sort of talk, if that's okay.
yeah, but I'm
Yeah.
just saying, I don't understand what women go through where they get random pictures or all of a sudden it's in their inbox. Like, I'll never understand that. But if I'm
Yeah,
having
I've gotten that. I've even gotten videos.
yeah,
Yay
if
for
I'm having
me.
an online encounter and we're both, willing to do it, yeah, I got no problem with it.
I'm
It's all
in
good
a
with me.
conformist to the cult of modern feminism. I'm not in any cult. That is actually a very bad thing to say to me. I subscribe to no cults. None. None.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Colt C's, giving his opinions like nothing. But Colt C, the only thing I can say, I think you possibly called her a demon earlier. I just wanted to
yeah.
say it's all good, brother. We're here with a no judgment zone. Let's just enjoy the company and talk. And I
That
guarantee,
stuff
I
doesn't bother
guarantee
me.
you, Colt, if you let go of some of these, feelings and urges, you'd probably have a lot in common as well. Other in other areas with amazing people. So no worries, Colt. We love you. Thank you for your feedback,
I
brother.
mean, if respecting human beings is a cult, I guess I'm a part of it. Someone said something that I wanted to respond to. What was it? What was it? Oh yeah, the James Gunn thing. So yeah, I just threw that out there. Yeah, I used to know James Gunn, but unfortunately, when you get like really big, you tend to like have a smaller crew, or you just get rid of old friends. Like I only hung out with him and his friends when he was still doing a lot of indie stuff. Like, I met him through Trauma because I did a Trauma movie internship.
Oh gosh, I hate
And
that
he,
place. I hate that company. Oh my god,
I
I was
love Lloyd.
I
Lloyd
was
is really
dating a girl
smart.
that was like one of his little minions, and she would tell me, Mike, I gotta go to this event today. I gotta put on my little tie, I gotta be his little minion. I'm a trauma girl. I'm like, oh my god, what the hell?
Oh, she was an actual Trauma girl. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I would not. I won't be a Trauma girl, but I liked, working with Trauma. And James Gunn did his first movie was a Trauma movie, Tromeo and Juliet,
that's
which
true.
was it's a pretty fantastical movie.
That's where I
um,
met James. That's where I met James back in the days.
why do
Is
I have flies in here? Go away. Yeah, and
because you're with an actor from the Willies, and I killed flies in the Willies, so now they're coming for the revenge.
yeah, I loved hanging out on Trauma stuff. I love Lloyd, and anytime that he needs me and he comes to Seattle, I help out because him and his wife are such sweethearts.
Didn't he pass away just
No,
recently? I thought
no,
I thought
he's
Lloyd
still
Kaufman passed away recently.
no, he's still
Or
alive.
was it somebody else from Tromaville or that company?
It might have been someone else from Trauma, but I mean, we texted the other day, so
Dude, he was hanging. Dude, I was going to like events and I would have to sit there next to Ron Jeremy and like Lloyd
Tom
and
Jeremy is
with my
disgusting.
girlfriend. It was annoying. He
Yeah,
scared me.
trauma.
Ron
The
Jeremy
trauma world
scared
is
me.
a little. The trauma world is a little weird. But if you know like Lloyd, it's all fun and games. It's nothing serious. Like he likes his art, and everything he's ever done is just a commentary on Hollywood and political stuff.
Yeah, but he's making the girl sexual objects for his pleasure, whether you agree with it or not. That's what he was doing. And
Oh
then my
yeah, yeah,
girlfriend was
yeah.
allowing it to happen. And then she would tell me offhand, I'm not nobody's sexual object. I'm like, you're a fool. You're a fool. You're being somebody's sexual object in front of me, but you're telling me that you're not going to get dressed for me as a sexual object. And I'm your boyfriend, but you're going to do it for this Lloyd Kaufman guy. Then on top of that, you're going to star in movies like Black Devil Doll, and then you're going to show your breast in all these for those producers and get killed by a little murdering black doll. But yet, for me, no, I can't treat you like a sexual object, and I can't see your boobies, but they can. Like, sorry, girl, we got some problems. We got some problems.
Yeah, it's just the way that Trauma was all set up because it's supposed to be super camp and over the top and ridiculous as fuck. And I think that's why I love it. Like, again, like meeting Lloyd and hanging out with him, he's a very well, for me, he was a very sweet man. I know you have a different experience now,
No,
but
I never said he was rude to me or any of that. I never had those interactions. I
oh,
just
okay.
meant the optics
The
and
optics of it.
everything,
Yeah,
and
yeah. Okay.
the people that were around him. If I have a mental disorder, which I'm sure I do, I can imagine some of the people he was around. Like I can't function around them. I'm already messed up on my own. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah,
No, but I
Class of
love and I
Newcomb High.
respect Toxic Adventure. I respect
Yeah.
Toxic Adventure and all that stuff. I mean, but I'm not really into B movies or horror movies. It's not my thing. It's just really not.
Oh,
My thing.
really?
Yeah.
No horror?
I mean, the classic horrors that I grew up. Yes, Freddy. Faces of Death and stuff like that.
Jason?
But like, it's just nah. Just I didn't
Just
like
not
it.
your thing?
It's not
Okay.
scary. It just became chasing things. Oh, they're gonna chase you. Oh, they're gonna chase you.
But
They're gonna grab a knife
it
and
depends,
chase you.
yeah. But it depends on the movie. Like there's some really amazing horror movies. One of my favorites is called Ginger Snaps, and I think it has one of the best animatronic werewolves I've seen. I really like the werewolf design. What are you doing? Please do not. Sorry, my cat is watching something and she's doing the clawing thing up on the screen. I'm just making sure she's not gonna like run out.
Did you ever have a moment with your cat where they're growing up or whatever, and then all of a sudden they got so much energy they literally jump from wall to wall to wall? You're like, what's going on?
Well, yeah, this thing just turned a year old. She's in her terrible twos right now, knocking over everything.
How do they do that? Like literally, they jump from like within 2 seconds.
Yeah, I think most cats do that. My other cat doesn't because he's too big. He's a Maine Coon, so he doesn't really.
Did you call somebody a
his
coon?
No.
Mama got coons, but every time she brushed him away on the porch.
Oh God, I wish I could go grab him, but he doesn't really. He's a no touching cat. Like he likes pets sometimes, but he's a very like just sit here with me kind of cat. And he's really he's a no touching cat. And he's 3 feet long. He's huge because he has part Maine Coon, part ragdoll, part Norwegian, Siberian, all the big animals, and then a little bit of domestic.
I'm an all-touching human. Or alien.
Ginger Snaps is one of the best werewolf movies. Yes! Yes! I love that movie. Though my partner would probably disagree. He likes, what is it? The classic one, the American Werewolf in Paris or London.
I remember that
American Werewolf in London, yeah.
That was scary. That was a good movie.
Yeah, that had a really good practical effects. The turning into the werewolf was very visceral. I liked what they did with that.
Yeah.
Ginger Deadman. Yes, I loved Ginger Deadman. I worked with Gary Busey once. He was fucking weird.
I love Buseyisms. Your name is Mandy. Mandy, Mandy. Must associate what nether wafers, is that a cookie? Dissect it yearly. Mandy.
Yes. Brent Mania. Look up Ragdoll Cat. Yeah, that's what his face looks more like a ragdoll than a classic Maine Coon face.
Yeah, and then horror, it just didn't.
The abuse. Yeah, he actually okay. So it was an indie film, very small budget, and he was only there for one day on set, but he demanded a trailer, his own trailer still.
That's awesome.
Like what?
Oh, yeah, that's Gary Busey. What you doing?
I know, but it's like, dude, you're only here for one day.
I do that. I do that on sets. If I get a job, I'm like, I'm Donkey Lips. Man, what you talking about? Give me a trailer. I want a trailer. I want M&Ms, but I don't want no red M&Ms. No red M&Ms.
So one of my favorite people that I worked with was only for a day, but it was the what's her face from Amityville Horror. I keep forgetting her real name, but she went crazy for a while in the 80s and nobody hired her, but she's like old now. Fuck, what is her name? This is gonna bother me if I don't know her name. Amityville Horror.
I like Scream. I like Scream when that came out. That did me for a loop. I enjoyed the recent Purge movie.
Margot Kidder. Margot Kidder.
Oh, yeah.
That's
the Superman girl. Shit, Margot Kidder.
Yes, Superman. That's right. She was in Superman. Yeah, so she worked on one film that I worked on that had Edward Furlong on it as well. Whew.
I love Eddie.
That was
I'm
fun.
actually going to see Eddie probably in a month.
That's cool. I used to have really short pink and blue punky hair, so when I changed my hair, he kind of hated it. He was like, "But I remember you as the punk girl." I was like, I changed my hair every other week.
I remember you as drunk every time I saw you, Eddie, so I stayed away.
Apparently Eddie has gotten a lot better, and I'm really happy for him.
He's doing a lot better.
Yeah, like he was on an acquaintance's podcast. The Inside of You podcast.
Yeah, Michael Rosenbaum.
Yeah, Michael Rosenbaum. Yeah,
he just did that.
I
did a Michael Rosenbaum podcast 2 years ago, and it never aired. Yeah.
No.
I'm like, Michael, what's up?
Bummer. Yeah. He had Edward on there recently, and Eddie was talking about how he forced himself to stay in rehab for a year because he was afraid to leave. He only was court ordered for 6 months, but he asked to stay because he was scared to leave, because he was like, but in here I can be clean and I know that I can
That's
stay
where my
clean.
brother's at right now. He's at the end of his 6 or 7 months or whatever it is, and they're forcing him to leave and get a job and find a place, but he doesn't have the ability to.
Yeah. And even though Eddie back then, because this was 2011, 2012, he was kind of still a train wreck. He kept asking for pills on set. He got drunk and punched glass, and he had to have stitches on set. I mean, he was kind of a train wreck, but he was very nice to me. Super nice. We had lots of like time alone together because when, on films, there's the whole hurry up and wait thing. And we talked a lot. And when he found out that I have pain issues, he mistakenly asked me if I knew anybody that had Vicodin. And then he immediately goes, "Oh, wait, no, you need it." I don't want to take your pills. And I was like, good, I'm not going to give you my pill.
Of course not.
But he was always very nice. And I love like that he's getting better.
So I'm going to possibly end it here, everybody. I'm going to allow Mandy to speak about anything for a minute or two, but I just wanted to announce to everybody, please hit that thumbs up, that like, that subscribe button if you enjoyed today's content. Give Mandy a shout out. All her information is in the description below. Go support her if you enjoyed her, if you enjoyed anything that she had to say, and if you enjoyed this episode, please let me know in the comments below. But right after this, whether Mandy comes along or not, for my members of my channels, I am going to go and I'm going to call the thing Happy Alien Podcast After Hours, because I'm trying to figure out how to do it correctly.
Mm-hmm.
In the past, my first podcast episodes were for members only. Then it came out to the public. But I think the better way to do it is publicly with the guest and then do an after hours later for my members only to get exclusive content and ask me questions. So if Mandy comes along, I'll talk to her about it in a minute and she'll set it up on her end if she wants to. But for now, please consider becoming a member if you want to stay along for the ride and get into some Happy Alien Podcast After Hours with yours truly.
And I will also put Michael's stuff in my description box as well. I don't know if I did already. I'll have to go back and edit that, but I'm going to make sure that your stuff is on there. So make sure you go follow him as well because he's amazing. And I love our newfound friendship.
Oh, thank you very much. So anything else?
I really enjoy when you tell me good morning or you just tell me have a happy day. That is like the best thing in the world. I love doing that to my friends as well.
Yeah, I don't know when I wake up, and it's probably not the morning. Like, do I like write good 3 a.m.
Morning for you. Morning for you.
I am all over the place. Again, we don't have to get personal, but anything else you want to say before you get out of here? Let the people know about your YouTube channel or
So like I have my Twitch handle down on my screen there, Great Catsby _. You can find me on most platforms with that or Mandy McGee. I'm pretty easy to find. I do gaming over on Twitch and I occasionally will game on my YouTube channel, but it's mostly Twitch that I game on.
What games are you playing real quick?
Overwatch, Halo, Sims is my favorite. So I will always play Sims because it's the most calming thing to me and it always relieves my stress.
Some girl that was married wanted me to create a character on, I don't know the name of the online game. Was it Afterlife, Simple Life, or something like that? Second Life, I don't know what it was.
Oh, probably Second Life.
Yeah, she's married and she's like, oh, we can connect there. I have my own character and we can have a relationship. I'm like, that's so weird. I never did it. I don't know. It's like she's proposing me to be like her
in-game partner. That's weird.
Her mistress online or something. It's so weird.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
The thought made me go, should I? And then I said, probably not. Probably not.
Well, I don't know if I'll come back for like the members only. Just send me is it the same link or are you going to do a new link?
No, it's like a different, I had to make a different thing that went private or to my members.
Okay, so send me
We'll
that
talk
link.
about it right now. Like, I'm going to end the show, and then we'll talk for a minute or two, and then we can figure it out.
Yeah.
But anything else you want to say real quick?
No, thank you for subbing to me if you subbed, and thanks for listening to me ramble.
All right. And I try to ask everybody at the end of every podcast with any of my guests, are you now a happy alien?
I am a very happy alien.
Thanks, you guys, for tuning in. Members only. We'll be there in a few minutes. Maybe not both of us, but I'll be there in a few minutes. And thank you guys for tuning in. And I'll see you hopefully next week or on the next Happy Alien podcast.
Yay!
So stick around. I'm going to put the outro and then we'll talk.